Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Kobold Con. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer, and I hope you all had fun doing some org play or just hanging out, chilling for whatever you were doing this Sunday morning. I hope whatever it is, it was good. We've had a very busy, very busy 2 days. This weekend has been jam packed with panels, actual plays, gaming, all of the stuff that makes life kind of fun. Yeah, I just hope that this was a continuation of all of the good things that is happening. And talking about continuing the good things that are happening, I'm joined here with three of the three members from the charity that we have chosen for this year to help benefit Let's Quest, who is doing some really good work. But hey, you all are probably better at talking about the good work that you do than I am. So please, let's go around and introduce you all to everyone, starting with John.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm John Johnson. I am the chair and founder of Let's Quest.
Hey,
Awesome.
I'm Edward. I'm the vice chair for Let's Quest.
And hello, everybody. My name is Thomas. I am a board member, industry liaison with Let's Quest as well. I'm actually also the owner of Foreteller Games.
Amazing. You all are truly doing just amazing work. This like when I remember, I think I saw John. I think I saw you talking about Let's Quest on a Discord server. I think it might have been the Many-Sided Media Discord server, and I saw it, and I was immediately like, "Oh, this is this is so cool! I wanna." And we were looking for people to we were looking for a charity for Kobold Con this year, so I'm really glad that we were able to make this happen.
Yeah, I mean we're very excited too. Yeah, it was many-sided media because I remember you messaged me and you were like, "Hey, you're like this is Kendo from with Kobold Press," and I was like, "Kobold Press, like that's awesome."
Well, hey, look, we both had a very special moment there. But yeah, so everyone, this is going to be just like all of the other Q&As that we've done so far. I've got some questions that I'm going to ask to get us rolling, get everybody informed. If you all have any questions, pocket them, save them. We're going to get to them. My questions come first. Um, and obviously I'll be watching both of the chats, so on and so forth. Throughout, obviously, as we had been talking about these past 2 days, every single thing that you buy on the Kobold Press store all this weekend, part of the proceeds of that will be going directly to Let's Quest. That's just and we are going to match that donation up to $2,500. But also, if you just want to, if you're like, hey, I've already got all the Kobold Press books, I don't need another Kobold Press book, but I do still want to do some good. Hey, there's a little QR right over there, right past me, right past Thomas over there. If you pull out your phone, pull up your camera, however you want to do it, you can donate directly into the fund that will be going to Let's Quest. So that's going to be up there for the entirety of this. It's going to be there for our actual play. There will always be a chance for you to donate up until the end of the day, because then Kobold Con is done, and yeah, that's what it is. But yes, so with all of that out of the way, let's get started. First up, let's just tell everybody, what is Let's Quest? How did this come about, and what is the company's mission or the organization's mission?
Yeah, so Let's Quest is a 501c3 not-for-profit. We are focused on supporting public school and library TTRPG programs. That actually wasn't always the explicit goal, so we were even more honed in. Originally, we were looking at like after-school programs specifically, but that very quickly ballooned to also including public libraries, and then discovering that a lot of schools do in-class stuff, and so it's not just after school like stuff that they're doing. They're using these materials in classes. So those are all kind of cool discoveries. And it kicked off because at my old day job, one of my coworkers said that his kid really wanted to learn D&D, and he didn't know how to play, but he knew that I did. And I just started getting like a feel for there being a lot of kids out there who are probably interested in this hobby that don't have a door in, with the how much like Critical Role blew up and Stranger Things was in the zeitgeist. It became more and more obvious that it was like a hunger that was there,
Mhm.
and that not every school was going to be able to have the resources to start something like that. TTRPG books are expensive, and I talked with some teachers that I know personally about what their impressions were, and every single one of them had the same reaction, which was, wow, sure would be really cool if we could have a program like that at our school, because I know off the top of my head groups of students that would join it immediately.
Mhm.
Uh, and that was really it. Like that's what started the ball rolling on getting Let's Quest off the ground.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I have a dear friend of mine from college that I introduced to D&D, and we did improv together, and I recently just saw him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm running a D&D group now for the kids at the school that he teaches at," and like. But he's like just doing it like in and of himself, like, oh, it's just like an after school thing that I do. But like I imagine if there was more like support behind that, where like if the school was like, oh yeah, we can get books, we can like make the time and like have the resources to help these kids, there'd probably be more kids doing it.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, that's sort of the problem is that you just pointed out, right? Is every program pretty much that is running at these schools or the libraries, like, they're out of pocket for the people running them.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do we run into a situation where like the school is funding, TTRPG books and dice for these things. They're almost always because there's a teacher in the hobby and they're bringing in their personal supplies to use, and that usually works when you have 5 kids in the program. But when
Mm-hmm.
they start ballooning to a dozen or 20 or 30 or 50 or 75, we've seen programs that large. Like, one teacher and their one personal collection of TTRPG materials is not going to do it, unfortunately. Makes it really difficult for them. And like, teachers aren't exactly rolling in the dough to be able to go out and buy all these materials. So
Yeah, teachers very famously so much excess money to just spend on RPGs. So
Who
how
knew that it was going to be such an expensive habit for us, right? When we all jumped
right?
in,
Oh,
you'd think one set of dice and one book is enough. And then once you play through that and the dice start not getting lucky anymore, time to expand and grow.
I need new dice. I need new books. My friend wants this book, but I already it's mine. I'll just get another. I'll give it to them. It's like it stacks up really quickly. So how many school slash after school programs does Let's Quest currently support?
So to date, we have sent out support for 53 different programs. That's across the U.S. So we are technically HQ'd in Florida, but we are from all across the country. I'm in Florida. Edward is in Texas. Thomas is in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
So we support all across the U.S. and we just launched in 2024. So we have been doing this a year and less than a month now. And in that time, yeah, 53 programs we've managed to support. And some of that is we've had a couple programs that are sort of a repeat. They've expanded, or maybe the teacher or the librarian has moved from one facility to the next. But that means about once a week we're sending out a new donation package to one of these programs. And we anticipate that will continue growing and will probably pick up pace because no one really knows who we are right now. No one, we're not like a household name, even for people who know TTRPGs. So,
Right. Which hopefully that changes, right? Because then the more the name spreads, the more good that can be done, the more kids that can get into TTRPGs. That's the next generation right there. The future game designers, future artists, future so many different things. I mean, future anything outside of the gaming space as well. But there's so many skills that tabletop games can help instill in people at that age that just helps them for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
yes.
that's kind of touching on one of the big reasons why I wanted to be involved in this is specifically that we're at this spot in our creative revolution where, dare I say, AI is super pervasive, right? In everything, and a lot of people are starting to lose skill sets of creating and thinking for themselves, and reasoning and logic and drawing and writing and doing all these things themselves that TTRPGs inherently stimulate, right? This theater of mind by design, and it's social skills, and it's putting phones down and devices away and focusing on community, right? And collaboratively, not even the storytelling aspect, even if you take the game away from it, it's just collaborating with other humans in person, right? And experiencing those bonds and those memories, right? And we see it even in the adult spectrum now, like that we're losing a lot of that, right? And that's why this is really important to everybody, and everybody in the hobby. I know I'm preaching to the choir on this one, but if we can get more kids in schools involved on the early onset, and get them comfortable with these skills, and work it into their lives, we're not going to lose this, right? Like we will win this war against AI taking over artists. Like we will win that, because they're going to grow up with it, and they're going to enjoy it, and it's going to teach them skill sets, and they're going to apply it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you had mentioned like putting screens down. And one of the things that we found with a lot of the programs, and I had mentioned this earlier, that turned out to not just be after school, because there are a lot of schools using TTRPGs in the classroom as like a dedicated no screen time, right? They're not using like computers in the class. They're not using any sort of technology outside of like dice and books. And it's a nice like no tech communal way to play. And it extends beyond students. I mean, Edward, I only know because we met up for a D&D game that was organized online that we started playing in person, and now we are still friends to this day. It's a community that is really binding, and you make a lot of really permanent friends in, and you develop a lot of those long-term skills. And that's why we're so appreciative of Kobold Press bringing us on and partnering with us and doing this Q&A with us, and Tom coming on with his industry knowledge from Foreteller to help really get the word out. We think what we're doing is really important, and this is the time to be doing it, right? There's no better time to be growing the hobby with young folks than right now.
Yeah, 100%. Can you tell us, I'm sure each of you have maybe one of your favorite stories or moments about like what like Let's Quest has done or been able to do for some of these programs.
I can definitely take that. If anyone else wants to talk after me, go for it. But it's not a single story. It's like a recurring thread that keeps coming up. And it seems like no matter what program I talk to, I keep hearing the same thing, because one of the first programs we got, they had a group of like 45 kids for their program, which when I was in high school and doing TTRPGs, we had like 6 of us in our like TTRPG group, and I went to a pretty big high school. So it's this little middle school. They're a fraction of the size of the schools that I went to, and they have 45 kids in their program. And I explicitly asked, because we were just getting off the ground, said, hey, what did you do to attract kids to this program? Because I want to share that with other programs that we talk to that may be trying to expand. And she said, oh, nothing. We started the program and 45 kids showed up.
Oh, that's so
that's
cool.
it. Like, that's how bad kids want to be, being creative and rolling dice and making new friends and being in person with each other, like social gaming. Like, it was that easy. Tell people there is a room to go to where you can do it, and they come.
That's so good. Oh, that gave me so much hope. That filled me with so much. Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. We were talking with a magnet school at one point. They have 800 kids at the magnet school. They said their largest extracurricular class and program they did was their tabletop program. It had 200 kids in it. A fourth of their entire student body was in the
That's
tabletop program.
that's so
That's
cool.
bonkers.
That's I can't even imagine that.
I mean,
That's
Yeah.
well, I can. It would just be kids in the hallways rolling dice in between classes, trying to land the final hit on the boss before they go back to
Yeah.
class.
oh,
I guess it's really any room at Gen Con, right? That's what that
yeah,
is.
that is what that is. But like high schoolers or I guess
Yeah.
middle
Oh.
schoolers.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and we hear from elementary school, middle school, high school, libraries, so it's across the gamut too.
that's so cool. I used to.
I think to add to this from my side, mentioning Gen Con, like we kind of got started in 2024. We did a trade day at Gen Con too. So I would say, yeah, some of the excitement level from the other half, not from the student side, but from the teacher half, right? The educator half.
Mhm.
Trade day is very focused on something like that, right? Seeing educators excited about like learning about different ways to bring in involvement and stimulate kids and that kind of stuff, and to be able to do their jobs better with new tooling and different empowerment things, right?
Yeah.
So you see the excitement from both sides of the equation, and that's a recipe for success for all of us,
Yeah.
in our hobby and in our industry, and humans.
Yeah. Absolutely. One of actually a fellow board member mentioning YouTube, Squishy Triangle saying one of my being theirs. One of my favorite things I've seen is how inclusive the programs are. One of my favorite things about the hobby is how it brings people in and gets people talking to each other. Seeing pictures from schools of these big diverse programs is amazing. Oh.
Yes, that's true. That is our treasurer. For anyone who's wondering, Squishy Triangles is the treasurer for Let's Quest. I did not know they were going to be in the chat.
That's well, thank you for being here. But yeah, that's so cool because I when years ago out of college, I was a DM for an after school program called Yukatsu, which was like a mixture of like a fitness and like gaming, like summer program, after school program that kids went to play games, but then like also go outside and like play with each other. And we had like a pretty consistent and very like it wasn't 200 kids worth, but it was a really strong group of like I want to say like 15, 20 kids who were just like so interested in like playing Dungeons and Dragons together and like being like that, like very much what you were saying, like building that community, building that the avenues to like interact with each other and collaborate with each other, even if because kids are kids, they aren't always on the same page and they're not always going to agree with each other, but they had this thing that still connected them and that they really really enjoyed. And I know for a fact that it has lasted into their adulthoods because I met one of the kids that I used to DM for who ended up going to my college and being a part of the improv club that I used to be a part of.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
he messaged me over Discord and was like, "Hey, did you used to be a part of this?" I'm like, "Yeah." It was like, "Yeah, I got into it." And it was such this wild this like these things that they take on into college, which and further into their lives. Like it's really powerful, like social stimulation and educational stimulation that happens there.
Yeah, I mean, how many of us who were in the hobbies when we were kids like still have really like solid, vivid memories of playing games, right? It's those things stick with you. It's not just a game, right? It's social, right? You're doing it with other people. It makes it so much more memorable, more impactful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So like for me with Let's Quest, my sister is like a fourth generation educator. And so she had never really gotten into D&D herself. And when, I talked about how we were working on Let's Quest and growing it, and she was like, well, the kids have been overhearing and they really want you to play a game with them. I was like, oh, okay. And, my nephew at the time was like 6, and my niece about 10. And so I sat them down and I played a game of D&D with them, and I didn't think it had any sort of impact just because like kids are, they have ADHD. They're running all over the place. But fast forward to like 2 months later when they come back over and they're like, "Hey, we want to play." And I'm like, "Do you remember where we left off?" And they're like, "Yeah, we were about to go into this room, and you started talking like this." And they were, and even though like it didn't seem like it stuck, they remembered everything, and they were like, "This is what I want to do." They've been like working, they've been problem solving and talking to each other about what they were going to do next time they came over, so they can keep the story going. And I was like, oh, my heart. They remember that, they're learning, they're doing things, and I feel like that's what we help facilitate for these other kids. And that's what has me excited about this program is that hopefully that's, what we're spreading.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's so good. So for just so everyone knows, the money that you all end up raising, be it from like other contributions, so on and so forth, but even more specifically, how does the money that we're raising this weekend help support what Let's Quest does?
Yeah, so any money that comes to us goes directly towards either shipping books that are donated or direct purchasing materials. So things that we don't get like large donations for, like, grid maps or some dice, those sorts of things. So 80% right now of all of the money that comes into us goes to one of those two things. The other 20% currently, it goes to like a normal upkeep stuff like websites and keeping our domain and like administrative costs for keep filing our tax stuff, all the exciting stuff that you love to spend money on, right? Yeah. And the thing is 80/20 is a great target for a nonprofit. We're very happy that 80% of the money coming in goes directly towards support, because that's a great target for us as a nonprofit. But those costs of like doing the IRS stuff and doing our websites, like those aren't going to go up. So the like more programs we get in the door, the more like that percentage is going to go in favor of directly supporting programs. Because last year our entire operating budget was like $4,500, and that it's for some folks that's not like that's pocket change. There are people throwing away money on much like less important things than helping kids, yeah. So it's exciting because as we grow and we get more programs in the door and we get our name out there and we get more partnerships like this with Kobold Press, right? The more money we get to send out, the more materials, the more impact we get to have. And like our direct impact just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And it means at some point it's going to be nearly all of every dollar gets to go directly to programs, which is really amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess that kind of goes into my next question. What does the future hold for Let's Quest? Like, what is like pie in the sky? If you had the money and resources, what would you want to be doing?
So short term, I'll mention that we will be at QuestCon in Orlando with a table. So if you're at that convention, come check us out. We will also be doing another trade day at this year's Gen Con. So if you're attending trade day, you can find our presentation there. But pie in the sky long term, and maybe Edward and Thomas will have a different thing to say, but I know we've kind of had this goal for a while, is we'd like to find a school district to partner with, because right now one of the most difficult things is like every library program, every school program, it's all like singletons, right? They're not organized in any overarching way. We sort of rely on either just getting lucky when reaching out or waiting on them to come to us. If we could find a district to partner with to help launch a program at every school in the district, and we could support the programs directly with materials, like that's the big goal for us right now. And not just because it would be awesome, but it would also be an awesome test bed, right? Because
Yeah.
if that goes really well, how much easier is it to convince the next district and the next district until we have like a network of well-supported TTRPG programs across the country? That's the like pie in the sky dream.
Oh, that's a world I want to live in. That's
Us too.
That is a world I want to live in. Amazing. Well, okay, everybody. Now is the time. If you have questions, please let us know. I'm watching the chats, but and I've already got one. Warren asks, "What game systems does Let's Quest currently support?"
Okay, yeah. So we have a variety of different like materials that come in our door. So we tend to try and like recommend the materials that have come in from us. So that might be Tales of the Valiant, or that might be yeah, like Shadow Dark is a popular one, Avatar Legends, Ninth Level Games has sent a plethora of stuff from their awesome world and mazes. We have quite a few different games that we just keep on hand, because one of the best receptions we've gotten has been from publishers, from folks like Kobold Press and Arcane Library. When we were at Gen Con last year, they were so eager to have a conversation about partnering with us and donating materials so we could get out to schools. So the answer is whatever is sitting in our stock is what we're pushing. There's one exception, which is that like 5e is just huge, and so like we have to direct buy a good chunk of 5e materials, because there is one publisher who's not super eager to get on board with us. So like we're that's probably the biggest gap. I don't think that there is probably any other game system on there that I couldn't reach out to the publisher and say, hey, we have programs that are asking us for this game. Would you guys be interested in making a donation to us so we can get that? I think 99% of publishers in the industry would be more than happy to send stuff over to us to make that happen, because we can organize it and do all the logistics and do all the communication, and they get to help schools and libraries and kids. And a book today that goes out to a kid is a DM in the future who's starting who knows how many groups, and they're getting all their own books and dice and all of that. But so we have quite a few different ones. Go ahead.
I would just say that like we try to send like essentially a starter kit, whatever they need to get up off the ground with whatever game that they want to do. And we do screen. Plenty of publishers have been wonderfully supportive and have sent us even digital materials as well that we can also send, but they tend to be sometimes more adult. And so we have been curating, making sure that it's not necessarily going, elementary school kids aren't, dealing with more adult themed games that exist out there.
Unfortunately, we can't have elementary kids playing Morkborg.
Right. I'm sure they would have blast.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And I'm sure they would love it, but probably not appropriate.
Yeah,
understandable.
And like if anyone is ever curious, like what we probably have, like we maintain a donors page on our website as well, has all the publishers that have sent material to us. So those are folks that have I said publishers, but there's dice companies on there as well. But folks who have sent us different games that we send out to these programs. But like I said, if someone really wants to start a program on a game we don't have on hand, like we will reach out to the publisher, we will direct buy. We are eager to get all sorts of TTRPGs out there, especially ones that might otherwise fly under the radar.
Awesome. Got another question here. Do you see a significant difference in the desire for these programs in public schools versus private schools?
Here's the thing. We are focused on on public schools and libraries specifically. They just struggle with funding. Private schools tend to be privately funded, right? It's sort of in their nature. So While like in the future, maybe we expand out that way. We don't have a ton of experience working with them and like what their groups look like because of that, because we pretty explicitly say that on the website, so I'm sure that curbs some from reaching out to us. We have had a few reach outs, so I mean it's certainly there, but yeah, we don't have a good like apples to apples comparison that we can offer, unfortunately.
Understandable. Um, yes. If anybody has any more questions, please put them in chat so I can ask them. But if not, I'm trying to think if I have a question. I feel like I did. Oh, I guess I do have a question. You were talking about wait, okay. This isn't I guess this isn't actually a question that has an answer that wouldn't be exactly what I expected it to be, which was I wonder and also I think I have literally no power over, but I would love for us to send you some TOV starter sets for Let's Quest, because we were talking about it yesterday during the Q&A for it, and how it's basically been put together to help introduce people into the concept of playing tabletop games in general. And I could see that being very useful for programs of like kids who are like, I want to do this thing. I don't know what I'm doing though.
Yeah, no, I mean, how wild would it be if we were like, no, that's no. Of course, yes,
Yeah,
we would absolutely love that. And
we don't want that one actually.
I mean, something that may or may not be spicy. So, I mean, I did have the opportunity. I joined one of the Kobold Con games and played yesterday. So I had my first experience with Tales of the Valiant yesterday, and got to play. Look, I love kobolds, so the fact that there's like a kobold like in the Valiant 6, and they're like, what do you want to play? I'm like, the kobold. I want to play the kobold. But now that I've experienced it, it's like it's so easy for someone to transition to Tales of the Valiant who's already very comfortable with 5th edition D&D. I am very excited to have that in our inventory, because it is, like I said, 5e is a large like body in the space. A lot of requests come in because it has Dungeons and Dragons on it, or the programs were launched on 5e, right? They have a couple 5e books, they need more. Tales of the Valiant is something that we can get out to programs that are already on 5e without it being disruptive to the program to try and change systems. And I'm very, very excited about that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We do have another question. How did each of you get started in tabletop RPGs? What made you fall in love with gaming?
So I have an older brother who's 7 years older than me, who is actually the reason I know Thomas as well. I have been in gaming since I was a small child because of that. I mean, I grew up on video games and Warhammer and D&D. So I have been like living and breathing games of all shapes and fashions since I was a kid. It's just a part of like who I am and my personality at this point. So there is not a starting moment for me, because instead I just had a starting person, right? My brother was such a large influence in my life that there was not a door that I walked in that was how I got into TTRPGs, right? It's just, I had a guiding hand the entire time throughout my entire life to get me into tabletop.
I think I started probably like in high school. I had a friend that introduced me, and his dad would kind of run some games, and for the most part, it was just like the fun camaraderie thing to do on a weekend. Getting together with your friend, and um, we didn't have any money, so it was just like eating bowls of ramen while we're playing games, and that was the fun thing to do. And then really later in life, I was in college, and I had another friend want to play. It was a White Wolf game. Actually, it was Exalted, and played it for my wife and I. And for the first time, we had like a custom game just for us, and something that the both of us just got wrapped up into. And then we kind of fell in love with storytelling in itself. And then I trained, and then you take a dive into being a dungeon master, and then now it's like your world that you're kind of growing and expanding on. You just kind of get impassioned by it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like John alluded to. I grew up with his older brother. Man, I don't know, probably like 10 years old. We were playing Warhammer, every single day after school, kind of thing. And that's lovely because like a dining room table becomes ours for an entire week as we battle. Playing old Warhammer Fantasy. But like D&D, I grew up playing with. So I could never. I grew up dyslexic, right? So my brother would always have to read the books and all that stuff. So that was one of my barriers, right? So having programs like this is important to me because I wouldn't have been so heavily engaged in this space, which ultimately shaped my life. And I have a business now. So many wonderful things have people and things have come from this that I would not have had there not been a support system there that I could leverage. So things like this is really important on a personal level because I think for me I wouldn't be able to answer that question if I didn't have that available to me, and I was fortunate enough to have had that. So, I just hope more people can, reap some of these benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for being here with me and sitting and talking about a thing that I think we're all very passionate about, which is gaming. And thank you all so much for the amazing work that you do. We've extolled its virtues for about 40 minutes now. This gaming is a very powerful, very important thing for lots of people, and the more access that younger people have to it, the better, because they take those skills and those people in that community for however long they can, and that's truly so amazing.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for
Yeah,
having
thank
us
you.
on and for partnering with us. We're very excited about it. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, of course. It is a pleasure. And don't forget, everybody, QR right over there. You can go donate. And we are about to go on break, but we will be back at the top of the hour for an actual play GM'd by none other than Tales of the Valiant designer herself, Celeste Conowitch, as well as a bunch of amazing people across the TTRPG space, playing some Tales of the Valiant for you, but also hoping to raise a little bit more money for Let's Quest. So go, use the bathroom, get a drink, whatever it is you need to do to take care of yourself. Go do it, and we will be back. See y'all.
Dust off your finest hat and tighten your suspenders, because you're invited down to the riverbank. In this new cozy RPG from Kobold Press, you navigate the intricacies and often the bedlam of polite animal society. Designed by award-winning writer Kij Johnson and featuring art by Kathleen Jennings, each page brims with charm and whimsy. At the table, your decisions matter. So, while animal life might seem as effortless as a stroll in the garden, your social calendar demands much more than a stiff upper lip. Riverbank introduces a new role-playing system, and players must balance their characters' animalistic and poetic sides. Veer too far to either side, and total disaster may follow. So grab your friends and put on your finest plumage. Then come dance a waltz of whimsy with a hint of hilarity and a dollop of drama. The cozy Riverbank RPG awaits. Download the free preview PDF and pledge today on BackerKit.
Whether it's your first adventure, or you're busy planning for the next, or you are proud to be valiant, Drive-Thru RPG is your best support class with Kobold Press's entire PDF library available. Browse through over 300 titles for Tales of the Valiant, Midgard, 5e, and more. Stay brave and bold with Black Flag compatible titles. Explore Kobold Press's famous guides on drive-thru fiction too. Start your adventure today.
Of arcane secrets, confront cataclysmic monsters in the near or deep void, and create entire worlds on a whim. With 14 new lineages, 6 new heritages, 30 new monsters, almost 100 new spells, and 14 mind-bending subclasses, players have an abundance of choices for multiversal characters and storytelling, all completely compatible with the Tales of the Valiant RPG and Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Run your most epic campaign ever with the Labyrinth Adventure book, containing 11 new adventures from levels 1 to 8, either as a continuous storyline or take only what you need to weave directly into your own campaign. Claim your key to the labyrinth and embark on a journey through 10,000 worlds.
Cole just like bites off one of Marlon's fingers.
Yeah! They fell into my trap. My up little guy trap.
I'm Rebecca once.
Well, what a lovely accent you got there.
Jamie thinks that you have time traveled.
There's 2 orphans coming towards you. They got like kind of fanged mouths, glowing green eyes. You can't really make out what kind of monster they are.
I'll shoot one. But I didn't take a pact. I didn't make any kind of actual formal agreements.
Read some paperwork about this.
Ron and Jamie have seen Marlon kill people.
I mean, Marlon has so many knives and isn't trained to put them in you.
My biggest regret is all the people I helped kill, honestly.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
Second biggest regret is there's some like glass between you. You just see her like punch through the glass and just grab Ron's face and kiss him.
It is the longest, hardest smooch you've ever seen in the history of podcasting, folks.
Necromancer the card game from Kobold Press is designed by Jeff Quick and art is done by Stan. Necromancer is a fast-paced card game of raising legions of the undead. You are a sorcerer commanding these dark legions, and your goal is to overwhelm your enemies with an unstoppable army or sacrifice a circle of underling minions to seize the Well of Eternal Life and declare your victory. Your only obstacle? The pitiable necromancers who think themselves your equal. You can pre-order Necromancer today on the Kobold Press store. Expand combat options for your game with Book of Blades and join the feel of battle over land and sea. This collection of player options for Tales of the Valiant and 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adds a wealth of exciting new material for martial classes, including 14 subclasses, new talents, new weapon options, new combat options for every martial class, and options for fighting in intense single combat duels, wrestling matches, and on mounts. Pre-order Book of Blades today on the Kobold Press store.
everybody, welcome. We're back with another event for Kobold Con. I am so excited to be here with some fantastic people, and we're going to be here playing some games for you, where our goal here, of course, is to keep raising money for charity, this awesome Let's Quest charity that we have partnered with for this Kobold Con. But yeah, today we're going to be diving into some little preview content. I'm sure you've heard by now, if you've been paying attention, the Labyrinth World Book is coming out so soon. Physical copies are going to be available, as well as the companion book, Labyrinth Adventures. So today we have a special treat for you. We are actually going to be doing a shortened, quick version of one of those Labyrinth Adventures for you to get your appetites nice and wet for those coming releases here. So you'll be doing a short version of Threading Rava's Needle by one of our longtime freelancers, Rajan Khanna. And my name, by the way, I guess, I should say that. Hey, everybody, my name is Celeste Konowich. I'm the senior game designer at Kobold Press, and was one of the lead designers on the Tales of the Valiant system, which we're running today, and on the Labyrinth World Book. But enough about me. Let's meet our amazing guest that we have today. So going around the screen, Candace, who are you? Who are you playing? What do you do on the internet?
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace, also known as Candace the Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she, with a sprinkle of he. I am here today playing Gada Zaid, who I'm very excited for, a fighter. You can find me at the Candace Marie on Twitter and Blue Sky, at Candace the Magnificent everywhere else. I'm a TTRPG performer, voice actor, casting director, sensitivity consultant, and a bunch of other stuff. So please check me out. And if you have the cash, please give.
Yes, please. And up next, Stella, who are you?
Hello. I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all other social media. I'm a TTRPG producer, performer, any and all pronouns. Today, I will be playing Zalbikar. I am a kobold warlock, 5'2", eldritch mess.
Yeah, fantastic. Can't wait to see it. And then, of course, going around the table, Wally. Who are you?
Y'all? It's me, Wally, your favorite non-binary slime best friend on the internet. You can find me at WALLE132 on the social medias just to find out the things that I do, the stuff that I'm in, and the things I enjoy talking about. Today, though, I am playing Hendrian Casca. I am an orc metallurgist. I'm very old, I'm very smart, and I am very tired.
Yeah, accurate. Deeply relate to that. And last but not least, of course, Drac. Who are you?
I'm Drac, or Draconics, but Drac for short is just fine. I use he, they pronouns and I do TTRPG stuff. Anything and everything teacher related, I'm doing or will be doing in the near future. But specifically, I actually play production, I actually play performing, and I write TTRPGs as well. But today, the teacher thing I'm doing is playing a character, playing Xenofosh. She's she, her pronouns. She's the cleric of the group. We'll see if she ends up being the mom of the group. I don't know where we're going to be.
Well, who knows? We might all need a mom in this rapid, fast-paced adventure. But yeah, before we dive in, of course, we do have some just admin announcements as we're going on here. So you will see, if you're looking at the screen right now, a QR code. That is a direct link where you can donate to the Let's Quest charity, which has been our big partner charity for this whole event. Please do consider donating. It's a really awesome organization that basically helps put RPG resources and supplies in the hands of underprivileged youth, works with a lot of library programs and schools just to, make this game possible in all corners of this world of ours. So please do. And also, just for the next few hours here of Kobold Con, everything you buy on our store, a direct percentage of that goes to this charity as well. So there has never been a better time to pick up any of those PDFs you're missing, do some pre-ordering. Like right now, you can go onto koboldpress.com and pre-order your very own copy of the Labyrinth World Book or Labyrinth Adventures, including this sneak peek cool adventure we're going to be running here today. And for last thing, Kobold Creates, the program is still up right now. Applications are open until April 16th. The theme of it is the Labyrinth, so of course we wanted to mention that here today. But Kobold Creates is an awesome program where basically, you apply and you work with us, and we want to give you resources, give you money to make things, make excellent things. So if you're a podcaster, streamer, designer, go, look, apply, please. We would love to have you. But that's the business. So are you guys ready? The valiant 4 of 6 to dive into today's adventure?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zalbikar ready.
So, for a little additional context too, the Valiant Six are sort of like our core crew in the Tales from the Labyrinth World book, Tales of the Valiant. These are the heroes who are known for being pretty much the superheroes of the realm. So, of course, you guys are constantly getting into all kinds of trouble as people across the universe need your help. So as we're diving in here, we're starting in the middle of yet another one of these adventures. All of you in this moment have been, well, basically sent on a quest to go and retrieve a magical, mythical train called Rava's Needle. This train has the ability to travel between worlds via portals, created by mechanists like Hendrian, and specifically engineered by mechanists within the Keeper of the Keys faction, which is one of the prime factions in the Labyrinth World book. The Keepers are all about making great technology that, increases the safety and feasibility of being able to travel between worlds. They invent it, they retrieve it when it goes missing, and this is one of those circumstances we've found ourselves in. So shortly before this game begins, you all have transported to a demiplane that has been controlled by these creatures called mechadrons, which are basically sentient robots. And all of this information, we'll get more and more into details, but right now, where you find yourselves is in the middle of this room. This basically a steel box that you have now snuck your way past all of these mechadron guards to. Right now, the pulsing green of this massive floating sphere is illuminating the space, and you see all of these control panels, just these little lights and screens and buttons, things that look so different than any of the stuff you are used to in your, typical vaguely medieval setting here. And as you're yes, here it is, the control panel we've been looking for to drop that stasis field, you hear the click, click, click of something metallic coming from behind this big floating sphere as you see yet another of these mechadrons holding itself up on these three almost like spider legs and this glowing eye that turns bright red as it begins to emit this alarm sound. Intruders! 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 You all have to get to those panels, and you have to get to those panels fast and get on this train, but this thing is in the way. So I think in this moment, the camera is rapidly panning around as we see our Valiant Four jumping into action. So let's go around the table here, and as this kind of cinematic combat challenge begins, Drac, tell us, what do we see? What is Sino doing in the midst of this evolving chaos?
Sino is maybe about 5'8", 5'9" woman with long black hair, currently tied up taut and high just to get out of their face, especially since it seems like some form of combat is about to start. They have a long scythe at their side, just a few inches shorter than they are, with a beautiful almost bluish greenish blade on its end. It seems to glint with some kind of almost like moonlight, despite there being no moonlight getting in or coming from anywhere here. It comes with me. I bring the moonlight. And right now, I think I'm immediately making a beeline for this construct, trying to get its focus on me, as I yell over my shoulder, "Hendrian, can you sort out those buttons and things? Not my forte," as I move to slash at this.
Yeah. So we see Sino jumping in, and as you swing out, bringing around your scythe, the creature that is now scuttling to the full side, you see one of its mechanical arm folds out of the back, behind its head, and has a very similar scythe that it's bringing down rapidly in front of you as you're squaring off with it. And the camera pans over to Hendrian. You've been told by Sino something about buttons. What do we see of you, though, as the camera turns to you?
You see, where Hendrian would have been, he's already making his way over to the console. He's like, yes, I've got it, don't worry. And he's making a beeline towards this console. And as soon as he gets there, he kind of adjusts this little tiny monocle that's on his over his right eye as he gets to work, trying to figure out how to get this console up and working, and maybe hopefully get this train going and stop this big thing in the room.
Yeah. So you're going, and as you reach the panel, you are there's a moment of panic, I think, as you're seeing all of these alien symbols right in front of you. It's like somebody who's never seen a computer looking at binary code for the first time, like, whoa, as you're like the glowing buttons in front of you. So as we see, a bead of sweat like start to drip down Hendrian's face, the camera turns again. Gada, what is our fighter up to in the middle of all of this?
I think you see Gata trying to back up Seno a bit. She runs top speed, almost like Naruto style, arms back, like weapons at the ready, and does kind of a slide between this thing's legs to try and take its legs from out underneath it, just to disable it a little bit and try to amplify Seno's attacks.
Yeah, so as you like slide across the floor, and everything here, like in this entire station, has all been clean, rigid lines, the kind that you can only expect from a people that are basically just machines with hive mind intelligence. So you slide across that slick steel floor, trying to cut at the legs of one of these things, and you manage to cut off a tip of it, but like another leg folds down, and it keeps its stability as it moves, and the head swivels around 360 degrees, and you find this red beam just like on you from your position on the floor. And the camera turns again. Zalbakar, what are you doing in the middle of all of this?
I like to imagine that the camera is doing these like cinematic swoops, just kind of pans down. And as it pans down to 5'2", much shorter than the rest of our heroic figures, you see these massive, massive golden yellow eyes, and they are literally reflecting the lights coming off of the buttons. And they have from the moment that we've stepped in here. And slowly, Zalbakar has been creeping over towards the control panel, completely oblivious to the other sounds as they are transfixed on this and more or less begin to approach Hendrian, which with significantly less urgency.
yeah, creeping way over there. Yeah, as just, oh my god, so many lights and like flashing things. It really is a feast of the senses as all of this is going on, and the chaos of combat now starting to evolve is echoing just like so loud in this basically giant metal box. So as we're looking here, we have Hendrian and Zalbakar. It seems like you're trying to basically deactivate the stasis, figure out this panel before things get really bad, because again, at the top of its little robot lungs, this thing has not stopped going, intruder, alert, alert, perimeter alert, woo, 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 just filling up this space. So time is limited. So what's the strategy here, kids, at this point? So we do have a few options. I might suggest trying to do some maybe checks to try and figure out what the heck is going on. Maybe an Arcana check?
I would love to do an Arcana check, or I would actually, is it possible? I would like to use my class feature, Eyes of the Maker, touch magic items to learn its properties. If I use Eyes of the Maker to touch this console, could I figure out maybe not exactly how to shut things down, but maybe kind of give me like a little bit of a pathway into it?
Yeah, I love this. So using a mechanist feature, absolutely, as you're going ahead. And what does that process look like? Is there a visual element, or is this something that happens in your mind?
I think the way this looks is because Andrian is a very tall orc, looks like they have been they are the type that looks like they've been working in blacksmiths all the time. That's where they have been raised up since they were a little tiny orc. They even wear that like blacksmith apron over their shirt right now. But the way this Eyes of the Maker looks is he has this one monocle over his right eye that looks this bright red with a lens, and he taps it and it glows brightly. And I think that we kind of cut from his perspective is that we see everything that his eye looks has a very unique description. Is pointing out what the console can do, is pointing out what everything does. And you look over at Zalbakar, and it just says short kobold, but then it goes right back to looking at the monitor.
It's like the QR code scanning. Like as you're looking, you're like, oh, cool, floating above their head. I love that. Yeah, so you sort of have that like beautiful mind moment, as the world gets labeled and all of these like weird signals and glyphs like start to in your mind as the magic takes hold, like make sense and into a language you can speak. And you realize that there are kind of like two main functions that are sort of relevant to what's happening to you now. You think here there's this panel stasis controls. You're pretty sure that if you mess with this somehow, that you will be able to bring down what is currently blocking you from accessing the train that is partially pulled into the station. You also see, because this was a great idea, take a point of luck, by the way, for doing that. That was awesome. You see there's one that says like central control, like sentry reset, like those kind of buttons there. And that also sparks your attention as something that might be incredibly useful in the moments to come. And since that was, I believe, an action, yes,
Yeah.
to do that. Okay. So what you could do if you wanted to share this information, because Zal is like sort of waiting right there, could give Zal advantage maybe on interfacing with a panel.
I think it's like he doesn't even look at Zal. He's just typing away and everything. Zalbakar, I need you to do something very important for me. While I am trying to reroute the energy conversions through every single point of this, while I'm trying to reduce the stasis field, I need to find some way to vent out these mana gates so at least we can bring the stasis down. I need you to do something very important for me.
Zalbakar is ready. And you can see like the entire time that you've been analyzing this module, Zalbakar's like pointed taloned fingers are like hovering patiently over one.
So many buttons.
Moving,
It's like a
this
soundboard.
one,
There's like, oh yeah,
maybe
things
this
to.
one. But waiting for a Hendrian's call, because there have been way too many opportunities before where Zalbakar's impatience has led to their downfall.
Awesome.
You'll look at, yes, I get you want to push a button, but I need you to push that one right there when I give you the signal.
Zalbakar ready, and you see Zalbakar kind of lean back and shift their weight on their two legs. Very, very limber looking for a kobold here. You see this muddy red scaled skin here, and there's something kind of moving underneath his golden green robe here. He readies a staff which ends in a dragon head, and it has it positioned over the button, waiting for your signal.
Yeah. All right. So I think what this is, because it's a matter of timing right now, as Hendrian is like getting the sliders and everything in place, so you can press that button. So let's do maybe a sleight of hand check, or does that feel about right in this moment? And let's roll with advantage to see if you can time this just right to get your system shut down.
Oh yeah, that definitely sounds good. This is gonna be all right. That's a 17 and a 16, so it'll be a 17.
Yes, absolutely. If there's one thing kobolds are good at, it's pressing big red buttons. But question though, which buttons are you pressing? Were you giving the command Hendrian to bring down the sentries or to bring down the stasis field?
I was giving Zalbakar the command to bring down the stasis field.
Okay, yeah. So you, so as you go ahead, and there's this moment like, and you're like, now, and we see it in slow motion, boop, as the cane, comes down just on the yes. And there's like a big electric, like short sound that comes out, rings around you, and woo, as you see like this whole section of the room, the panels go dark, and that big floating like sphere in the middle, that lime green, it's almost like a holographic thing, like flickers and then just goes dark. So essentially this room now is just illuminated by the periphery panels and this red eye that is trained down right now on Gada after making her cool slice here. And all of you feel this like weird, it's almost like pressure has gone out of the atmosphere. Something big and magical now has ceased to exist. But you are still very much in trouble in this moment because these guards are still active and still angry. So cinematically, describe for me, Gada, what is like your turn as this thing is like stabbing down at you? What do we see as you're like fending off this creature?
I feel like Gada is realizing that if they can make as big of a commotion as possible, perhaps that gives Hendrian and Zalbakar a little bit more time. So I think they're like dodging back and forth and just using their athletics, like kicking up like off of that third leg and kind of doing a flip, and maybe taking their hand axe to like the voice box on this thing. Like if there's a place like a speaker where that noise is coming from, trying to take that out to give a little peace and quiet.
I love that. Let's go ahead and just do like a roll for me, maybe an athletics as you're swinging around, or an acrobatics if you would prefer, as you're trying to just like, get at this thing, this box that's making this huge amount of noise.
Athletics is awesome. I got a 27.
Oh my God. Yeah. So you with do you bring in like a weapon or a fist or like
I've got some hand
box?
axes,
Yeah.
and I think I just let one of them go right into the speaker, and I bring the other one up, kind of like up the front of it, just to get myself back off to catapult
Yeah,
off
all
the
the
thing.
while avoiding, by the way, 4 hands on this thing, each with a different bladed weapon. So you're like ducking and dodging, and you bring that around, and you hear, and it starts making this like low whining sound as you've successfully attacked that voice box. And then Sino, describe for me your turn too. How are you backing up Gata in this moment, keeping this thing occupied while your friends work on the panels?
I think anytime I see a metallic fist coming out from a direction that God is not seeing coming, I swing my scythe to kind of deflect it. And the moment they take out the voice box, I go, "Nice job. Now I think it's time you run." And I'm going to cast command and get this construct to run away.
Yeah. So you speak, and what do we hear? What do we see when you cast that spell?
I think you see like almost a glowing start to emanate from the inside of my mouth. And again, it's very much like the moonlight's coming out of my mouth. Every time I speak, that despite the heavy presence of magic disappearing, you can sense the magic coming out from my tongue itself as I say run. And these kind of almost ropes of moonlight start to wrap around the construct's legs and arms, trying to force it to flee.
Yeah. So you see, those silvery words of light come in and circle around this creature. And something about this thing, maybe because it is like almost like a robot in nature, it seems very susceptible to commanding, to reprogramming, as you know, it all of a sudden stops the flurry of motion, seeming to consider what you're saying to it, still making those weird like non-sounds. And then Hendrian, we come back to you. Go ahead, give me a check with advantage to see if you can take out these like the control reset on these guardians.
Here we go. Good thing I rolled with advantage because I rolled a 1 on the first roll. That will be, said Arcana?
Yes, Arcana.
It'll be 18.
Nice, that is more than enough. So you go through and you move, just as Zal is like bringing down the shield, you go and you type in that final command, and there is another of those sounds, and that creature that was standing over you just freezes in mid-place as you see all of the lights. Its eye just goes out, completely frozen.
As soon as that happened, Hendrian looks back at the others and yells, "We have 3 minutes! You need to move!"
Go before all of the mechadrons in this station reset. So we want to run out the door?
Oh yeah.
Beeline. Yep.
Oh yeah.
If Gata
So
gets there first, they have like their weapon out, like their broadsword out, like trying
kick
to hold
open
the door
that
open.
door. Yeah. So you pour back out of this control room here, and as you step through the panel, into the gray light of this larger station, imagine like any kind of desolate, concrete and metal train station or bus station, like underground system here. So as you step out, it's freaky. You see like these little like mechanical solodrons that were kind of like flying through the air, just like stuck there, hung completely frozen in midair, as well as all of their large group of these other same kind of things walking towards you on mechanical legs. So you've probably, I don't know, 24 of these creatures or so that were rushing actively to deal with you. So you run right past by them. Again, your time is ticking, and you see that big station where the train was, that you would come in here, and now that shimmering field that had kept it in the stasis is indeed gone. And what's really, really weird, as you're looking at this train station, it almost looks like it almost made it out of the station. So you can see like that dark tunnel there that's almost shimmering, like with a portal. You get the feeling if you walked into the darkness, it would not be good for you. But so you can only see like the last 3 or 4 cars of this magnificent train that is all like beautiful redwood and, golden like gilding and all of these like emblems of clockwork and gears. It's magnificent. But there you are, and looking at it, you can see the very end of the train, which is still pulled into the station, and it has these like curling double doors around it. That seems to be the only entry point you can see from here.
And it doesn't stop. They keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go, and leaping onto the tracks, right, and like across to get on the back of this thing. And as you pile up here, you remember now that the person that hired you for all of this, Soldaria, your contact who had basically sent you to look for this, missing train, and the person who constructed it had given you a few items before you had arrived here. One had been the portal key, which was basically the one-way ticket that had gotten you to this little demi-plane she happened to find after months of searching for it. 2 was a silver needle about 3 inches long on a chain, which she had told you was a special key needed to get into this train, essentially given to her by her one-time friend, partner, lover, the missing engineer of this train that you've been sent to find. And 3 was something called a wayfinder, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So who is holding this silver needle?
I would like to make a case for holding maybe all of them.
All right.
Okay with everyone.
Okay. Yeah.
Kobolds like shiny stuff, and
I was
all of
gonna
the things
say.
you received, incredibly shiny.
Yeah.
So
If there's anything Zalbakar does well, it's holding on to shiny things.
Hendrian will 100% trust Zalbakar with the shiny magical items because they are a wizard. They are smart in magic, is what I want to say. So yes, I do trust the items to Zalbakar before I immediately studied every single one of those items, learned how they worked, and see if I can replicate them just in case Zalbakar does break.
yeah, so just in case, seems like a reasonable thing to do. Wonderful. So how are you looking at this? So this door, beautiful, like nice carvings. There's kind of a big central gear, like in the center, that you recognize as like the holy symbol, you know, of Rava, the patron goddess of creation and the keepers of the keys. But as you're looking at it, other than that, like there's no real like handle or keyhole, and you're holding a 3-inch silver needle. What are you doing with it?
Zalbakar takes a few moments after scurrying up onto the end of the train. They have a fanny pack, and the fanny pack is full of these magic items. One moment, please.
We don't have so too long, Zabakar.
Counting down. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left.
I found it. The needle. And literally just like flat touches it up against the door.
Yeah. Whoop. Just kind of in the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, there we go. You like tap it, and you know, just because you're going for the center, it's like right in the center of this gear. You're like, hope this is good, and it seems to be good enough. As you see the doorway,
I feel like good enough is like Zalbakar's life motto.
My subtitle is Zalbakar, good enough. So, as you do, the door doesn't like swing open or crack open. Instead, it sort of shimmers. And what you see is like an indigo colored shimmering field, like a portal that you have to step through, I guess. Like as you're looking, you can't really see what is beyond it, but it seems to be something.
Zalbakar, while pointing at it, turns to the party. This looks ominous.
Well, what's more ominous is what's going to happen if we don't go through that portal in the next 1 minute.
Yep. True.
Gada looks red at Hendrian, nods, and just throws themselves inside.
Yes.
Inside.
Gada charging ahead, and you all follow suit.
Zalbakar turns to Seno and puts their hands up as if for uppies.
Okay. And they kind of like put their scythe on their back and then pick up Zabakar, kind of holds them as they rush into the portal.
You were wondering if you were going to become the mom of the group, as you know.
Yeah.
I think this is official. As sweet Zalbakar up on your shoulders, you step through the portal, and it is a shocking, I guess, kind of experience. Like, as you all pass through, you all have that familiar feeling of, like, now that you've been spending some time in the labyrinth, portal travel, like, you have experienced it 10,000 different ways since coming here. And that familiar, like, tingly feeling, you know, like the pins and needles that come across your body, that occurs as you step into this train. And you find yourself in what must be, I mean, so this was like the caboose car, the very end here. So as you're looking around, you see stacks and crates of like barrels and all kinds of like kind of behind these little like locked cages, stuff, a lot of stuff. The feeling in this car is very comfortable, like a nice ambient temperature. You know, before it was a little bit cold out there. It was, you know, a place made by machines that don't care about heat or climate control. This incredibly comfortable, ideal for humanoids. You might even say as you step inside, and you find yourself within a car that's maybe about 100 feet long and 35 feet wide. So it is big, much bigger than you would have assumed looking at it from the outside. So you realize that there is some extra dimensional magic happening here, and that's going to be a big old theme you're going to start seeing with this incredibly magical clockwork train that you're on. As you look across the way, like far beyond, the cages and all of the supplies and everything in here, you do see on the very far wall directly across from you is a large, like purple panel. It just kind of looks like this blank screen that shimmers like with a vaguely indigo color, much like that portal you came through before. You don't see like an actual doorway or anything, so you get the sense that moving from train to train is going to be a matter of activating these portals as you move along here. But now, as you like get to the other side and there's like a minute to calm down, seemingly, you don't think the Mechadrons can make it here. They don't have a key. You are safe for now. Let's talk about some of the objectives that we were sent here to find. So do we want to go around here and talk about maybe in order? We've got 4 objectives. So let's look at the list here. And Drac, why don't we go ahead and what is our first objective? Let's go around. Let's remind ourselves what we're doing here on Rava's Needle.
So with Zabika, I think currently on Sana's back, you hear Sana almost murmuring to themselves as they go through the objectives in their head. Okay, step 1, bring down the stasis field, currently keeping Rava's Needle trapped in the Mechadron. Then we played, and we did that. Zabika, you did that. Thank you.
Yep. Good job. Good job. Okay, cool. And
With
then
some help, yes.
Yeah. And Zalbakar, what as a reminder, what was that second thing you were sent here to do?
And then we must board the train and travel through its cars until we find something called the Eye.
The Eye, yeah. And it was described to you by the keepers as some kind of like highly magical engine/navigation pane. And that's what that third object in your pack, that wayfinder. Apparently you need that to talk to the Eye and set some kind of coordinates. But you have another objective going on. So, Candace, what was that? What was that third one that got us turning over in her head?
Along the way, find or figure out what happened to Zarumanthan.
Yes, Zarumanthan. That was that guy that you were sent here to find. So Soldaria, your contact, apparently this Zarathaman was the person who actually built this train and ran it for quite a while before just suddenly disappearing with the train without a trace. And nobody knows what happened to him. So that's a pretty important objective. But our last one, the most important of all, Wally, what is that? Hendren brings us home. We'll talk about that last one.
Once we've reached the engine room, we will take control of the train and use its navigational systems to drive it to the closest portal on the train's interplanar track, a forest world called a Boreal Station. Solaria and the Keepers will be waiting there to safely take possession of this train.
Yes. So, good job, guys. You're already 25% of the way through everything you need to do here. Excellent. But the thing is, people don't really know what's up with this train, like how it happened to be here or what went wrong in the middle of, the engineers' adventures. So that is why you, as the big ol' heroes of the realm, have been sent, just in case things go sideways. But I'm sure it'll be fine, right?
Seems like
Totally
a normal
fine.
day for us.
Yeah, completely.
We'll be fine.
So here we are, standing in this last car here. You know that there are multiple cars, and if you know anything about trains, which is, that's weird, strange technology, but in the labyrinth, you've run into a few of them at this point here. You know that it's probably towards the front of this train, so you're going to have to get through these cars as fast as possible. But other than that, if we want to stop, check in, talk strategy or anything, this is the place to do it. Seems like this is a pretty chill place for the moment.
I think what Hendrian does is he lets the strategy be done by Seno. He immediately goes over to the far end of the train car and looks at the door the portal will be going to the next car over while they discuss their tactics for this.
Yeah, you very quickly assess that the way these kind of portals work, these doors, basically a creature just has to touch the panel, and then just like before, getting inside this train, you see this indigo kind of portal-y doorway appears and shimmers. And through a little bit of testing, real quick, you realize that the door stays open for about a minute, and then the system needs a few minutes to reset before you can touch it again to open the door. So perhaps that's some kind of security measure, like you can't just send endless people through, but there doesn't seem to be any way to determine what is on the other side of these portals.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, well, we're not entirely sure what we're going to find on this train, but it can only be, unfortunately, bad, since it didn't make it to its next stop. So I think the best we can do is keep our eyes open and keep moving through the trains until we find something or someone who can help us find the eye and hopefully Zarimantha.
Yeah.
The size of this train suggests that the doors should stay open a little bit longer, so I agree that maybe we're not going to find anything good, but I'll be ready. And she brandishes as many weapons as she can hold.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll be the
Yes.
pessimist of this, and I will say we will find something horrible on the other side of that door.
Be ready. Yes. And also, as some helpful additional information, when you were first assessing what was going on with this stasis field and this train, you realized that the Mechadrons had set up this kind of really intense stasis field that not only seemed to have stopped the train from moving forward, kind of keeping it in this half tunnel state. Whatever was on the train was probably also affected by it, since nothing has tried to get off or deboard. So it's almost like everything on this train was frozen in time at the moment that stasis field went up. So whatever was happening was probably directly frozen in that moment. So if something really bad was going down when the field went up, that might also increase just a level of complexity, just to keep in mind for you all. But with that, it seems like Gata is, in the front, kind of leading the way. Are we ready to try and see what is on the other side of this portal?
Yeah,
I'm actually curious. Do we know anything about mecha drones?
Of course, I know things about mecha drones. Cecil. You just asked me the question. Of course, mecha drones are ancient forms of technology created in another plane to be viewed as mindless drones to handle the light work while it's going around the plane, so no sentient beings themselves can live there and waste their time doing whatever task they do.
Yeah,
they're very scary.
Yeah, beyond that too, Mechadrons, they're obsessed with order, and there is something with them that says it's all about the plan. Frequently, Mechadrons talk about this plan for, I guess, the universe, for themselves. It's a little bit unclear, but they all, wherever they are in the universe, seem to be well aware of this plan. So they're being obsessed with order and whatever big universal thing they're involved with. It's very terribly mysterious to everybody who isn't a Mechadron.
And well, Henry, and then my question, I guess, is why do you think they put a stasis on this train? Doesn't seem so disorderly that could have happened that they thought it was necessary.
An excellent question. I mean, they have a set purpose of things they're supposed to do, and they're supposed to follow it down to the wire, to the most finite detail. If a stasis was set up here, then that means something here wasn't part of the plan, and they had it set up just in case the thing that wasn't part of the plan became too much of a problem.
Well, starting to think maybe the Mechadrons might not be our enemy here, especially if the thing we meet on the other side might be a bit too much for us to handle.
Yes. White blood cells. Let me describe. White blood cells are the centuries of the human body. So when
God, are you pressing the panel and kind of moving forward while this, continue. That lecture, begins.
Seno's generally interested.
You can feel it in the air, spinning up. So you touch the panel and you step through rapidly, bringing an end to this lesson nobody asked for. And then as you move, you transition into yet another one of these cars. So you can see we can establish now all of the cars are roughly the same size, about 100 feet long, 35 feet wide, 10 feet tall. For the most part, the ceilings, the surfaces are metal, but they've all been like well carpeted or, you know, well decorated. Essentially, this would have been a really nice probably experience for passengers to move through. And you do know when you talk about Zarathrumin, the guy who made this train, one of the big purposes of it was not only to like have an easy way to travel between, you know, these destination worlds, but also to collect curiosities from around the labyrinth, and so you know you could display them, learn about them while traveling, you know, the worlds. It was a pretty sweet deal for the keepers. They were pretty mad when this train just like disappeared. So yeah, as you're going through, you stumble into this car that is definitely another one of those curiosity style collections, as you see that there are these gilded cages lining both sides of this, like some kind of like a mini zoo or menagerie. You can see that there are creatures, all manner of strange creatures, in these cages around here. And the ones that are immediately, like as you step through the door, you know, on this like plush red carpet, you see to your left, looking off here, what looks like, it's hard to describe. There are maybe dozens or so of these tiny, they almost just look like heads, but kind of with insectoid features and like these little bat wings like sprouting out the side. And all of them, they're just like in this swarm that's like chaotically bouncing around and letting out these little like shrieky kind of insectoid sounds as they like bounce against the bars, like searching for a way out. And then on your right, as you're looking here, you see like a tank that's completely full of water. And these large, they would be like angel fish, except like 3 times the size, and they have these faces on them with like milky white eyes, as they kind of drift slowly through this saltwater tank. And just beyond that, things get stranger and stranger as you see like this big worm creature that has like hundreds of eyes around its body, it's just kind of curling in midair, almost like a snake would be on the ground. You see like a big terrarium full of just these strange alien multicolored plants that you've never seen before. And towards the end, you see that there is a cage that has its bars that have been blown out, almost like something exploded. And there doesn't seem to be anything inside that cage.
Senna, you feel the little tiny claws of Zalvikar kind of dig into your shoulders, and you hear a hushed whisper of, "They're so cute."
Cute? I mean, Artemis, forgive me, I shouldn't judge Mother Nature, but these are interesting, to put it lightly.
Mm. Oh, even more exciting, I forgot to mention the cage that's probably closest on the far side here. You can see another of these panels, like a, you know, an exit door. There is a very large cage that has black velvet cloth completely draped over it. So that's the one like right by the exit door. No idea what's in there, but there's like a golden pulley rope hanging from the ceiling.
Immediately, the moment Senna
see
sees
that?
that,
We all see the golden
moment
pulley
Senna
all
sees
look at
that, Senna's like, Zalvikar, no.
Zalvikar just points. You see from your peripheral vision just a single kobold finger.
Oh, it's so shiny. It's just begging for you to pull a rope.
I don't generally want to use any abilities on any players. So I'll ask you for permission first, but can I try to use polyglot, which lets me gain advantage on a charisma check to influence through speech on you, Drac?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So scrabbling down from your back, Zalvikar stands very seriously in front of you, looking up at you. And as they activate polyglot, you see their eyes just blossom into puppy eyes here, as I'm going to try to persuade you, just whimpering and pointing. Are you okay with this?
Yeah, please do it. I'm okay with it. Senna's the one that's sighing here. I'm fully fine with this.
Okay. I'll try to do a persuasion check on you. That's gonna be a 16 or a ooh, that's nice. Okay. 24. So do
Yeah,
whatever you
24
want with
makes
that.
it.
So cute.
No, 24
oh
makes
my
it.
god, the tears, just like the.
I look down at Zabaka, I sigh. Then I look to Hendred and God and say, I'll make sure he doesn't get into trouble. We can just let him put on the rope, and if there's something bad in there, we can deal with it. We can handle it.
You won't hear an argument from me. I don't agree with any of this. Everything in a cage, they belong outside.
Except this thing. And he points at those angelfish. I don't like these angelfish, Gata. Their smug faces
One of them
disturb me.
turns to you and like gets really close to the glass as you point at it and just like blinks in that creepy soulless way that fish
I don't
do.
like their smug faces.
You feel a hand on your arm, Hendrian? You are the smartest among us. I trust you implicitly. It looks evil.
Incredible.
I want Zabaka. I'll take Zabaka and I'll give them a piece to reach the rope so they can pull on the rope.
Yoink! Yeah, a little steppy stool so you can go. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so satisfying. It's one of those thick, like, you know, beautiful ropes, and you just see the black like curtain start to like rise up from this thing, you know, pooling, and you're like, what is it? What could it be? As you find yourself face to face with this reptilian head that just has these like piercing like red eyes, and I need you, as you're staring down this basilisk, to make
Oh no! I deserve this.
Incredible.
Find out portion of the scene. Oh my god.
Yeah.
A constitution save, please, as this basilisk
no.
was so ready for you to just look at it.
Constitution save. All right. Ooh, that's a 11.
Okay, you needed a 12. So, what was happening here? On a failure, a creature magically begins to turn to stone and is restrained. The restrained creature can repeat the save at the end of its next turn, becoming petrified on a failure or ending the effect on a success. So let's roll some initiative here.
Oh,
Oh boy.
You just hear a tiny
And a cracking sound as some dust from nowhere starts to come off of your companion, who's rapidly turning gray.
I love it. All right.
All right, give me those advantage or those initiatives when you get a chance.
I rolled a nat 20, but I've got a -1, so it's a
Oh
19.
no! So okay, all right,
17.
Drake.
I got a 4.
Okay, so that was a 15 for Gata, and then Cena was a 19. Who was the 4?
Me, Hendrian, got a 4.
That feels right. You're wizened and careful, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Accurate.
Zal, what'd you get?
Got a 13.
Okay, a 13. Cool. Let me roll some stuff.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is that
Oh my
stuff
God.
plural?
I rolled so good.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. So as you're all like, oh no, and you know the curtain's coming up and you're realizing everybody, that's a basilisk in there, you know, at various points on the train. And I imagine, Hendred, you're probably still like close to that aquarium looking at these things that are just taunting you. You're like, as you look into their eyes, you know, they're swirling with dark mysteries, and you're like, from behind you, Hendrian, you hear the cries of all of these like swarming head creature things that were behind you. They shriek in unison, in perfect unison, dozens of these little tiny things, and there is the sound of cracking as they burst through these metal bars in one concentrated effort, them all like throwing their bouncing heads against the edge of this thing, and you all see they begin to swarm out of this. So you are dealing with an insatiable brood of creatures. Very nasty little creature from the Monster Vault, Tales of the Valiant Monster Vault. So I invite you, if you're following along at home, look at how awful these things are. And they go first because they got a 21. So let's roll.
Darn it.
So yeah. Yes, I like how all their actions are plural because there's so many of them. You see as they're coming out, and Hendrian, you're right there behind them. So they are swarming upon you. You see they open up their little head mouths, and they're just filled with rows of pointed teeth as their bites attack is unleashed upon you. So here we go. Oh, only a 7 to hit.
Misses.
Oh no. Yeah. So luckily you're wearing that leather apron that you wear.
Yeah,
all
my
the time.
twisty leather apron, yeah.
Yeah, see,
But
so
also,
most
this is a little bit more than just a trusty leather apron, though. It's more of a trusty leather apron that shines brightly with a very unique shimmer to it. That when as soon as that the thing tried to bite down on the arm, it looked like they were about to bite on its like pale unguarded skin. But you hear a loud clang noise as this thing clamps down on now what looks like a shimmering armored like arm over that underneath that bite. It's like, ah, yes, it's working. We need to stop these things.
Yeah, your mystic metal feature, pops off here as you are wrapped in this incredible creation of yours, this Mechanist super armor. Yes, so these things like bounce off you. Luckily, most of them were distracted biting through the bars at this moment, so you're okay for now, but let's go ahead and also throw a bonus action at you before I go around. So as you turn and face these things and, they can't get a bite in here, you see that all of them at once are looking at you. They just all, hundreds of eyes, turn and stare into your soul at once. And it's very strange in the middle of this chaos and everything, just that sheer amount of attention. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw for me. This is against a frightened effect.
Oh, I have advantage because of my timeless resolve. When you are an allied creature within 5 feet, make a save against becoming frightened. I have advantage on the save.
There you go. So that eldritch fear starts to creep in, and we roll.
That will be, I got 18 on the dice. That will be
fine.
a 17. Yeah.
Yes. So you fight off the cosmic horror that is waiting the eyes of these aberrations. And then that's this thing can't touch you, which is incredible at this moment. So Sino, we come to you. You get a chance to respond. Friend turning into a basilisk right in front of you. At the other end of the train, there's a swarm of these little winged head creatures. Everything else seems to be in its cage for now, except that suspiciously empty one that is directly behind you.
Is the basilisk out of its cage, or is it still?
It's not. So it's still like trapped in the thing. So the only thing that is out and active that you can see are these brood creatures.
Okay. And do they count? I guess do they count as one creature?
Yes. So this is technically a swarm creature. So it is like a swarm of tiny creatures that is occupying its own space here.
Okay, I'm going to make a beeline for them. How far away are they from me? Right now, I'm next to the basilisk. I guess how far away are they from me?
Yeah, so you're pretty far at the other end of the train, and we did say it's about 100 or so. I think most of that, it's interspersed. So I'm going to say you're probably about 60 feet away, unfortunately, from your friend, because he stayed right by the edge, that other end with the cage.
In that case, I'm gonna, with Zabukar still in my hands, slowly becoming stone, I'm gonna spin around to turn Zabukar away from them.
For some reason.
It's getting so heavy. I'm not gonna say that. It's not very polite to tell someone that they're heavy, but I'm gonna spin them around so they're not facing the basilisk, and then gonna try and reach for the rope to try and pull the curtain back down behind me, to cover the basilisk again.
Yes. So so you can absolutely, use object. That's going to be an action to go ahead and just cover that up. Just cover that mess up. A fantastic use of an action. I think very, very wise. Take a luck point. I think that was a good call for you. So yes. And then what else would you like to do?
I think I'm just trying to see if I can do anything from this distance. Third level spell slot. I will use a third level spell slot and cast. I think spiritual weapon. Yeah, I can cast it from 60 feet. So, spinning around, I'll set Zabukar down and reach forward, and with a bonus action, cast spiritual weapon. And you see a perfect replica of the size I have in my hand, materialize right beside this swarm attacking Hendrian, but entirely made of moonlight, and it's gonna slash down at these creatures. And I think I'm actually gonna cast out. I was cast out at third level. And I just bump up.
So in Tales of the Valiant, it'd be a third circle.
Oh, third circle.
Yes, we've changed that to clarify the long-standing complaint and confusion around character level versus spell level.
Yeah.
Now it's just small circles.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that is 2d8. Yes.
Oh, roll to hit me. Sorry, what did you get to hit?
Oh yeah, to hit, I got a nat 20 for 25.
Woohoo! Okay,
that's
so you're gonna be
48.
rolling that damage twice. Luckily, plenty of targets to scythe through as
yeah.
this like big old swarm of things. Oh man, yeah.
That will be. I think I get some extra stuff because I'm 7th level. That's for a cantrip specifically. So no, that is 25 points of radiant damage as
Okay,
this radiant
incredible.
sight slams through this swarm of face fish.
Yes, yeah, these horrible little, they're like bats, except most like just
Oh,
heads, like for the
head
most
bats,
part. Like it's
yeah.
sort of what they look like. It's really we're gonna do this low tech style and hold this up to the camera.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, I
that's
love
actually more
it.
horrifying than I was imagining. Oh my
I
god.
Oh
love
yeah.
that so
Oh, it's
much.
awful. It's really awful. It's bad. So you mow through about half of these things with those giant swings of your scythe, just going through these creatures which are flooding towards your friend, making them very easy targets. So fantastic. Anything else for your turn?
And I'll move a bit closer. I'll move my 30 feet to close the gap a little bit. But that would be my turn.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely incredible. Okay, and then got it. We come to you.
How far away am I from these creatures?
I think because you didn't declare you were like moving towards. I assume Gada would have taken like a nice position in the middle of everyone who's poking things. So let's say 30 feet, so you could easily run to either set of friends at this end of the train.
I think I look over at Hendry. I think I was next to Hendrian actually, so I think I'll like.
So you're right there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stand like make sure that he still has like an opportunity, like he has area to like move, but I'm kind of up front, and I'm gonna take my longsword and just try to like swipe through these things. As hard as I can.
Absolutely, roll to hit.
That's a 19.
Okay, yeah, 19 will definitely hit. Luckily, there's still plenty of targets left, even after that massive scythe swing.
Awesome. Ooh. That is a 13 for damage.
Okay, and that is just slashing non-magical damage, yes?
Yes.
So unfortunately, these things do have swarm resilience. So they have resistance to non-magical piercing, slashing, and bludgeoning attacks. So that is going to be having that damage, as essentially you're not doing quite as much in here with it's just hard to get as many as you would like with this hit, but you have another attack, or would you like to use a weapon option?
I think. Ooh. So I think what I'm going to do is use my weapon option Cheap Shot. When I hit a target with a melee weapon as part of the attack action, I can immediately make an unarmed strike. Nice. I think this is also vibes, but yeah, I get pissed because I can't do any damage. And so I just lash out and I'm like, get him, like slap fight.
I love it. Oh, awesome. So go ahead and make a d6 for me, and that will be, you are proficient with those, so you can add your strength to hit, but not your strength modifier for the unarmed strike.
Okay. So that's going to be a 5.
Okay, yeah. So you punch one, you see it, you get right in its little beady face, and it falls down. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, she feels like really like excited. Like you see like their chest puff up a little bit, and then they see the other ones around, and they like lower their shield. Like they use their bonus action to lower the shield. Yeah. And I think she shouts over one shoulder, "Hendrian, your magic, do your magic stuff. I'm not
magic." Incredible. But before we get to Hendrian, Zal, we come to you. You need to make me a save or turn to stone, my friend. So this is going, that Constitution save.
Okay, 17.
17. There you go. So you managed not only to not turn more to stone, but you have stopped it. You have successfully, now that you've been removed, you're not staring down the basilisk anymore. That is enough to shake it off. So how does, like, what do we see? Like stone flakes, or what are we seeing right now?
So you know when like a cat kind of like shivers and you see it bristle down their spine? Yeah. Something similar happens to Zalbakar. He just like the flakes begin to just puff off of him as he flexes all of his scales.
Ooh, yeah, so you like kind of shed that off. Yeah, and there's the cracking sound as a little bit of gravel like falls at your feet. And you're like, well, that was weird. A weird feeling kind of came over you, but You're fine now. And let me check if that took your whole action. Repeat the save at the end of its turn. At the end of its turn. So unfortunately, that was your whole turn. Not turning this down, but good turn. A good
Yes,
solid
very
turn.
good turn. And you'll see like they're slowly turning as if to reach for the rope again, but they
Yeah,
don't quite
I
make.
still have you in my hands. I haven't set
Oh,
you down yet, so
dang
I
it.
ran with you.
You
so-
better. Okay. Then
No
I do
more.
not do
You
that.
talked me into it last time.
Excellent. That'll be
Awesome.
my turn.
Then we come now to Hendry, and these things in front of you about halfway reduced. So if you can get a good old hit on these things, you might end this fight.
When Gada says to him to use his magic, he says, Gada, I told you before, it is not magic, it's science. And he pulls out this warhammer and he kind of like revs it, like the hand of it revs like a motorcycle's engine, and he revs it a couple of times, and you see like the back end of the warhammer opens up as like this tiny little like jet propulsion engine comes out of the back of it, and it's kind of like he's holding in place as it's vibrating as this engine is starting to build up as I swing away at it.
I love it. I love it. Roll the hit.
And I got a crit. Oh my god.
Whoa!
Let's
You guys are
go.
monsters. What is going on here? All right. Valiant 6. Let's go.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff I can do here.
Yeah.
Because of I have heavy hitter, when wearing Mystic Metal, my melee weapon damage deals 1d6 extra force damage on top of it. So I am rolling 1d8 plus a 1d6 for damage. But also I have 2 attacks. I have 2 attacks, and also
Mechanists are martial characters. Yeah, not magic. Accurate science.
And I'm also using the protein to give it to turn the damage into fire damage. That's where that jet engine like comes in as he slams it, and like the head of the hammer just starts to engulf in flames as he swings it at the swarm.
Incredible.
That is
You double it, you got a crit, so you double it.
that's true, I do
So,
double
Yeah,
it.
roll it again.
So that's 5, 6. That's 11 plus and plus 4. That's, I can do math. 15.
15. All right. How do you take these things out with those two, like those double fiery strikes as you're going on here?
I think what it looks like is that the hammer was like charging up, building up all like this force behind it, and he says to himself, force plus math equals damage, and he swings the hammer into the swarm, and when the hammer connects the swarm, there's this loud boom of explosion as the fire and everything goes off, and he turns his back away to look at the others as he pushes up his glasses, and like he does that anime thing where you don't see and you just see like the shine of the glasses. Just the shine of the glasses, nothing else right there as the explosion goes off behind him. And he says, science.
Science, as the last of these like smoldering like little heads fall to the ground. And you are fine, handled in 6 seconds. Y'all, whoa. The rest of the creatures, by the way, if any of them looked like they were thinking about escaping, now sort of retreat like from the bars and are like, eye contact. No more. Even those big fish, those big creepy fish, like turn away. Finally from you, they're like, we want none of that. Yep.
Could I, as I'm being held suspended adrift in the strong, capable hands of Seno, can I try to just have a cursory glance over these things to try to determine if there's like a common denominator, where they might be from?
Yeah, go ahead and give me, you want like an Arcana or nature check?
Let's do Arcana.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's not great. That's gonna be a 13.
Okay. A lot of these things you have never seen before. And, Zalbakar has been around. I mean, all of you have. As the Valiant Six, you fought a lot of stuff in a lot of places. So it's very weird that you haven't seen, like, you can't identify a lot of these things. And maybe that's the common thread. These are things that seem to have, a lot of eyes, tentacles, that sort of thing. That kind of screams aberration to you, which is a creature type that is typically from like extraplanar sources, right? Like the stuff in between, the weird, maybe not of one world, but of So maybe this is some kind of weird collection of, yeah, extraplanar, the things that lie between spaces.
These things don't belong here.
Yes, I'm not
I'm
sure if they
kind of-
belong anywhere.
I've got to agree with Gata. Maybe we need to let them out.
I'm not entirely sure we should let them out here.
This not here in this area, especially with that basilisk right there that turned you almost into stone.
Oh, it was just saying hi.
I'm sorry for letting Zabakar put on that.
No,
That
it was
was
the
me,
only way
guys.
they will learn.
That's true. Also, is this what rich people like to do for fun? You pay for this experience?
You'd be surprised what they pay for. This is honestly, other than the many eyes, this is maybe the tamest thing I've seen rich people pay for.
Gata is mystified and nomad.
Yeah. Whoa. Build trains, put weird eyeball creatures on them. Good, great. Yes.
I'll set Zabakar down. Finally, this entire time holding Zabakar, I'll set them down on the ground.
Yeah.
You see Zalvikar just waddle over towards the cage that has been busted open and just kind of look at it, hands on their hips, staring down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you look around, nothing as whatever was in there doesn't seem to be here now. But maybe ahead. And indeed, that little portal panel awaits.
Well, it's not here now, so it's not our problem. Let's go.
I think that's actually the exact opposite. Okay.
I think Gata like whispers to Senno, we both know it means yet, but let him cook.
All right, do we want to move along into the next car?
Let's go.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we are prepared, and our showrunner, thank you, Kendo, has let us know we're going to take a little 5-minute break here. So everybody get up, stretch, consider what might be waiting for us in the car ahead. This is also a great time, everyone. Go buy your books, buy your PDFs. Do it now so a percentage goes to charity. Make sure to hit that link. Let's do it. Yay! Okay, see you in a bit.
Dust off your finest hat and tighten your suspenders because you're invited down to the riverbank. In this new cozy RPG from Kobold Press, you navigate the intricacies and often the bedlam of polite animal society. Designed by award-winning writer Kij Johnson and featuring art by Kathleen Jennings, each page brims with charm and whimsy. At the table, your decisions matter. So, while animal life might seem as effortless as a stroll in the garden, your social calendar demands much more than a stiff upper lip. Riverbank introduces a new role-playing system, and players must balance their characters' animalistic and poetic sides. Veer too far to either side, and total disaster may follow. So grab your friends and put on your finest plumage. Then come dance a waltz of whimsy with a hint of hilarity and a dollop of drama. The cozy Riverbank RPG awaits. Download the free preview PDF and pledge today on BackerKit.
Whether it's your first adventure, or you're busy planning for the next, or you are proud to be valiant, Drive-Thru RPG is your best support class with Kobold Press's entire PDF library available. Browse through over 300 titles for Tales of the Valiant, Midgard, 5e, and more. Stay brave and bold with Black Flag compatible titles. Explore Kobold Press's famous guides on drive-thru fiction too. Start your adventure today.
Round of arcane secrets, confront cataclysmic monsters in the near or deep void, and create entire worlds on a whim. With 14 new lineages, 6 new heritages, 30 new monsters, almost 100 new spells, and 14 mind-bending subclasses, players have an abundance of choices for multiversal characters and storytelling, all completely compatible with the Tales of the Valiant RPG and Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Run your most epic campaign ever with the Labyrinth Adventure book, containing 11 new adventures from levels 1 to 8, either as a continuous storyline or take only what you need to weave directly into your own campaign. Claim your key to the labyrinth and embark on a journey through 10,000 worlds.
Cole just like bites off one of Marlon's fingers.
Yeah! They fell into my trap. My little guy trap.
I'm Rebecca once.
Well, what a lovely accent you got there.
Jamie thinks that you have time traveled.
There's two orphans coming towards you. They got like kind of fanged mouths, glowing green eyes. You can't really make out what kind of monster they are.
Let's shoot one. But I didn't take a pact. I didn't make any kind of actual
I have
formal
to go
agreements.
read some paperwork about this.
Ron and Jamie have seen Marlon kill people.
I mean, Marlon has so many knives and isn't trying to put them in you.
My biggest regret is all the people I helped kill, honestly.
No, that makes sense.
Second biggest regret is there is some like glass between you. You just see her like punch through the glass and just grab Ron's face and kiss him.
It is the longest, hardest smooch
Yeah.
you've ever seen in the history of podcasting, folks.
Necromancer the card game from Kobold Press is designed by Jeff Quick and art is done by Stan. Necromancer is a fast-paced card game of raising legions of the undead. You are a sorcerer commanding these dark legions, and your goal is to overwhelm your enemies with an unstoppable army or sacrifice a circle of underling minions to seize the Well of Eternal Life and declare your victory. Your only obstacle? The pitiable necromancers who think themselves your equal. You can pre-order Necromancer today on the Kobold Press store. Expand combat options for your game with Book of Blades and join the feel of battle over land and sea. This collection of player options for Tales of the Valiant and 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adds a wealth of exciting new material for martial classes, including 14 subclasses, new talents, new weapon options, new combat options for every martial class, and options for fighting in intense single combat duels, wrestling matches, and on mounts. Pre-order Book of Blades today on the Kobold Press store.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're playing some Tales the Valiant for charity. As you can see on your screen right now, we have a big old QR code. Follow that link to go and donate to Let's Quest, this really awesome charity that we're partnering with for all of Kobold Con. It helps get TTRPG book supplies in kids' hands. So it's a really great cause. And of course, everything you buy on our website right now, a portion of that goes also to charity. So go. If you're enjoying this, what you're seeing so far, as a reminder, this is a truncated, stream-friendly version of one of the adventures actually in the Labyrinth Adventures book, which you can pre-order right now along with the Labyrinth World book. So get in there. This is a very short version of Threading Rava's Needle, which is a fantastic adventure by long-term freelancer Rajan Khanna. So yeah, we hope you like it. Let's see how much more trouble we can get into in the next hour. You all ready?
Oh boy, yeah.
Let's go.
Woohoo! All right. So when last we left our bold heroes, they had fought off, a scary bat face swarm of monsters, left that menagerie car behind, and now we are moving into the next car of this mysterious world-hopping train. So as you all experience that feeling of like little portal tingles and find yourself in this next car here, what you see is pretty different than the room you were just in, which was lined with cages and everything. This room appears to be just objects everywhere you look, like a tiny little museum full of things on pedestals and stands. And as you're looking around, you see like suits of fancy armor against the wall, like shelves with all of these multicolored bottles. There's like this whole like glass case display stand of like 30 different keys, all of different shapes and sizes, and just it's totally like a museum collection of stuff. As you are looking around this little area here. You can see, like, just like the room before, this car is that same, like, pretty big, 100 by 35 feet, 10 foot high. This room, is a little bit nicer and has a lot more creature comfort in it, like chairs and little places for people to sit. So a little bit more away from the zoo theme we were just in. But like before, you can see there is a panel on the far wall and plenty of things to look at. What are you all doing?
Zendikar instantly goes over that panel. That's the first thing. Yep, check out that panel.
Check out that panel. Yep. Okay, so that panel, the panel on the far side, like the door panel?
Yeah, just checking out to see if it's just like the one that was in the other room.
Yes, it appears that all of these panels are the same and work the same. So there's a little feeling of, thank you, like as you touch it and it works and it stays open and you're like, okay, good. So seems good.
I tell the others, every single panel works the same way. So that's a bit of comfort on our end.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I think seeing all these objects around, I take a quick glance at Zalbikar and just like tap my scythe and cast light on my scythe. I
Zalbikar
don't
has
say anything,
very,
just prepare.
very deliberately put his hands in his armpits, just like waddling in your shadow, knows better, doesn't want to get yelled at.
Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah, I just to make your life harder, Zalbakar, here are just some bullet points of the cool things on
Yes,
display in this room. Rocks and minerals from various worlds in a bunch of shiny colors and textures. There's a suit of armor made of interwoven green leaves, except it's as hard as steel. There are plates, stone tablets, parchment pages containing like languages from thousands of worlds that you have never ever seen. There's a massive fang, like kind of mounted, like from some gargantuan beast. There's that giant key thing. There's clockwork mechanisms that are all in these like neat little boxes, and things like proper like grandfather clocks, like things that kind of technology that you really don't see much at all. And as all of you are kind of looking around the room, what is everybody's passive perceptions, just out of curiosity? Yeah,
Oh,
just your
interesting
passive perception.
question.
That is a good
question.
Just to see very nice things, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Mine is a humble 12.
Mine is a 16.
Okay. Yeah. Zal and Gata, we got higher than that, or we,
10.
15.
Okay. Yeah. So with the 16, so see now as you're, looking around, obviously keeping an eye on Zelbakar, and Hendrian is checking out, confirming that the panel works, you get a sudden feeling that somebody's watching you. And like you kind of whip around, like you're not sure where it came from, but something is wrong in this room. Your senses, like you tracked something subconsciously.
I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I think we should keep an eye out because I think something has an eye out for
Ooh.
us.
The wriggling mound that's hidden inside my robe has a perception of 18 for sight, hearing, or smell, if that helps.
Okay, yeah. I think how does your little friend talk to you usually? Is it like a telepathic thing in your mind or
Yes.
Okay, so you get like a little like, hey, boss, just so you know, there's something weird in that corner of the room. Just boss, so just you know, it smells like a machine, but I think it's alive.
Zalbakar will quietly slink away from Sano and head in that direction.
Yeah, just quietly. Sendo's like, something is weird here. You're just moving quietly. And your friend, the thing it was indicating there is a metal person, like in one of the quarters of the room, like closest to the door, kind of standing in an alcove. And as you look at them, it appears to be, like a person made out of machine parts, like kind of brass plating and everything. You see that its face kind of is shaped like a barn owl, so it's kind of oblong and has like these two, big eyes. It's sort of cute. It kind of has like a innocent looking quality to it. And you see it's got like a saffron like kerchief wrapped around its neck. And as you look at it, you see that the little pin pricks like kind of in the center of its eyes seem to be like moving around, and as you get closer they go and like look ahead.
Hello.
It makes like a little cough and kind of shifts, like still pretending to be really, really still.
Hendrian!
What is it? Did you saw something?
Just straight up points at the metal person. Hendrian!
It makes a sound like trying to shush you.
Never mind, Hendrian. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I'll go back to this then. He goes back to looking at the panel.
Just kind of waddles closer.
Yeah. So as you're looking at this creature, Zalbakar, you realize that this might be something new that you've learned about since like spending a little bit of time in the labyrinth since the Valiant Six have come here. You are aware that there is a certain type of humanoid that is like a constructed humanoid thing. It's called a gear forged. So these are actually like metal bodies that and you're not exactly sure how the process works, but there's something like a living person, like a soul can be put into a body. And that's like a whole thing that happened, totally wild, but that's something you've encountered before, and you're like looking at this like that might be what this thing is.
Zalbakar will reach into their fanny pack and pull out a ration and just like kind of hold it up without looking at them, trying to like share it without being they're super obvious.
Suspicious. Yeah. I think it too at this point. Like, see, with your passive perception, there's no way you haven't noticed. Like, there is something.
Where is Zalbakar?
Clearly...
Zalbakar, Zalbakar, what are you doing?
Yeah, and you see this machine person, this gear forged, like slowly extending a hand out, kind of like freezes in place when you look at it, and it's like, oh, and the eyes go wide, like it realizes it's been caught. And it pulls back its hand and says, strange. Strange. It sort of touches its face in a very human gesture.
Are you friend or foe?
Strange. And puts up its hands.
Strange.
Strange. That's strange.
Is your name Strange?
Strange.
Okay, all you can say is Strange. Well, you're not attacking us, so that's good.
Strange.
Is it a spy?
Strange. Strange.
I think that means no.
Can I use insight here?
Yes, absolutely.
19.
Yeah, so this creature, I mean, it's body language. And again, it's you all probably have pretty limited experience with Gearforged. Like you maybe met one or two when you were like chatting to the keepers and getting this quest. But it is so remarkable how lifelike and how human like these gestures are, and it makes it really easy to read. Its body language is very much like close and cautious, and it clearly doesn't want to fight and is almost like apologetic. It does not seem to be hostile.
I think Gata looks at the rest of you and like they get a little misty. Remember when I said that things should be freed? Well,
yes.
Why is our friend in here? I mean, we don't know that it's our friend, but it's
strange.
Henrikin will walk up to this Strange, kneel down in front of it. Is your name Strange?
Strange. It kind of puts up its hands like, you get a sure, like
They
good
have
enough,
very
like kind of feeling.
Very
gesture.
limited vocal and communication skills, but it seems to be quite
Strange.
advanced in their moments, their movement and expression. Means of a range of intelligence that could assist us. So let's
strange.
Oh, you see Zalbakar poke themselves. They poke this mound that's just wriggling inside their robe. Just poke it and go, "Can you communicate with it?" So, my familiar has a limited telepathy that can communicate simple ideas, emotions, images with any creature within 100 feet if it can understand a language.
Yeah. So you're and let's describe your friend. I think as we
Yeah.
sticks their little head out at this point, trying to have basically a mind meld with this creature. So what do we see?
So you see, as it comes wriggling out, a pseudo dragon that is almost the exact same shade of red orange as Zalbikar. You see that it has these adorable little button eyes and these wings that unfurl like a bat, and its tail ends in a little stinger.
And did we go with Meatball? Is the
Yes,
name?
this is
So this is
Meatball.
everybody meet Meatball. So Meatball now, with an air of course you need me, sticks its head out and like kind of scrabbles up to their usual place on your shoulder and like stares down this creature, and Strange looks back at it, their big ol' owl eyes like going wide as this happens, and you get the sense of frustration immediately that comes from Meatball. Boss, I think you can hear me, but something wrong. Like static, like it broken. It broken.
Oh, that's so sad. Salbikar must report that Meatball says this being's ability to communicate is broken, and offers
Strange.
them dried jerky.
It takes the jerky and kind of opens its mouth, and you see just like a machine tube, and it like chews on it very efficiently and kind of puts it back in its hand and gives it to you. There's no like any actual fluid or anything. It was like, sorry, I don't eat, but like here is a small piece for you. I've cut this for you. And it's
Salbikar
handing
eats the
back.
processed food.
The look on Sano's face as they're watching this of like a weird mixture of like adorable but also kind of gross, I guess. like oh, okay. Let's see if we can help you, Strange.
Strange. You get the sense it would like that.
I am. I want to go up to Strange. I just go. I have no clue if this will work. You're honestly the first of your kind that actually tried this on, but you can give it a try. I want to place a hand on their shoulder, and I want to cast Restoration to see if I can fix what's going on with them.
Ooh.
I feel like it's a stretch because it probably isn't like a affliction or anything like that, but that's all I have right now, so I'm gonna try and help with that.
I love this. Go ahead and take a look for doing that. I think that's awesome. And then also for you as well, Zalbakar, that was a really good idea trying to like reach out to this thing telepathically. So Zal, take a luck point as well. And so Sino feels her magic like pour into this thing. And it is a humanoid. You can feel that, right? Like as the restoration would or should be working on this thing, and Strange closes their eyes and almost like, you know, waiting for something to happen, and then you feel the magic sort of fizzle out, and it opens its eyes in disappointment, and it moves the kerchief that you see around like its neck and almost like kind of looks down, and you see that there's a big like section, like a panel that is just open there, and there's a gem inside it swirling with this like purplish cloudy mist, and as it looks at it, you see the mist is actually it's dull and the gem is cracked, and as it looks down, it seems disappointed, like,
Sorry, this is beyond me, but this might be Hendrian's department.
Strange does put like a friendly hand on your shoulder, like a thanks for trying.
Of course.
Yeah, I would like to kneel down in front of Strange and look at that space where that gem is kind of like the energy looks like it's seeping out of the gem.
Yeah.
I see. It looks like this gem here does whatever it does for you. It was damaged for some purpose. I don't know how it was damaged, but the energy inside of the gem is leaking out, and that is causing your malfunction. The most I can do here is put a cap on it. And I would like to use Shard of Creation. So it pretty much says that you craft a Shard of Creation, a tiny magical object that appears in your person. In its base state, the shard appears as a fluid like bundle of plasma. The shard has 3 charges. You can spend charges to do one of the following properties: inspire, to make an ability check; transform. Oh, yeah, this is one. You can spend the charge to act and transform the shard to any type of non-magical weapon, shield, or object of medium size or smaller.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is I like take out the shard, and it's inside a little tiny. He pulls out this bottle, and he uncorks the bottle, and he just kind of like pours out a little like droplet of this liquid that's inside the bottle. And as soon as the liquid hits his hand, it goes flat like it's like water, but then it just suddenly condenses up into like a perfect sphere. And then he takes it and he touches it against that crack in the gem. The liquid, the gem, like the little gem disappears, and it kind of like melts over the gem to kind of create a nice little casing over it to stop whatever is leaking out.
Yeah, as you do, and I mean, Strange is watching with just like so fascinated by what you are doing here. And as you do, and you create that covering, Strange nods their head, giving you the feel like that feels better. And they sort of put that kerchief back in place, and put like kind of prayer hands, you know, together, like a thank you sort of gesture.
Of course, yes. Once the gem has done its recharging of how it does that, your functions of vocal will slowly come back to normal, or whatever functions you have that was damaged by that gem. However, I will give you a preface now that if whatever function you had turns you into an evil apocalyptic walking machine, we will put you down.
Oh, strange.
I just felt like I should at least, mention that just in case so you wouldn't be surprised.
Strange. Strange, and it sort of points its way forward at the next door and makes like a walking and points at itself, and a thumbs up.
Yes, you can come with us. If anyone else minds our new companion.
Strange?
Not at all.
Sounds good to me.
Strange.
Zalbakar's thumbs up, and you see Meatball also thumbs up.
A tiny double thumb. Yeah. So yeah, Strange is Yeah, it's a little strange. You don't know what exactly is going on with this creature, but Gearforged are definitely supposed to be able to talk normally, and you know that something is wrong with whatever this gem or part is. So hopefully, with that patch, it'll resolve over time. But Strange does seem to want to come along with you as you continue forward in this train.
Before we leave the room, would I be able to roll survival to check out those rocks and see if any of them match what's inside this creature?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think you don't even need to roll a check as you're looking. You're like, ooh, anything like that. It was a pretty distinctive looking. You've never seen a gem or anything like that before. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like anything quite resembles what is here. But as you're kind of thinking about it, you do remember something about, like, you were asking about the Gear Forge, or more likely Hendrian was probably asking about the Gear Forge when you first met them, and there was some kind of like really complicated explanation, some like mechanist fired back at you. It's something about like one of the ways these creatures work or they animate, they have something called a soul gem. It was something like it has something to do with like when the soul is transferred into the body, like these gems are supposed to seat the consciousness or something. So maybe since it's cracked, like a transfer didn't quite go, something like that. But apparently they're really special and really magical, and unfortunately it doesn't look like there's one here. But a great idea. Take a point of luck.
Thank you.
Good check. Good check. All right. But otherwise, it doesn't look like there's anything terribly threatening in this room, so you're free to keep on moving.
Head on to the next room.
Yeah, to the next room.
Yep.
Along this train.
Zalbikar will professionally avoid the urge to steal something.
Yes. You got in trouble last room. You're good this room. Maybe next room you can do some trouble again. You know, you just got to earn.
Alternate, you know.
Yeah.
Variety, the spice of life. So you continue forward. You open that panel again. Same feeling of teleportation as you step into a new car. And this room has a few surprises in it. So let me just read this little text box for you. So the west side of this room looks like a laboratory. The work tables to the north and south contain a chaotic mix of books, scrolls, gears, and tools. The north tables also hold a partially shattered set of alchemical equipment. But the east side of the room looks like a combat training area with racks of weapons, suit of armor, and an inert, like, almost like a gear construct, like a targeting dummy in the middle of the room. Scorch marks surround a ritual circle inscribed in the very middle of the room. South of the circle lies a dead human corpse, an older man in gray and blue robes. It seems like this corpse is maybe a couple days old, which means with the stasis happened before whatever the stasis thing happened in the center of the room. And your companion, Strange, steps through after you and looks at the body and says, "Strange," with like a sad note. So
As
big
we
ritual
were-
circle, a corpse, smashed, broken lab alchemy equipment on one side of the room, and like a combat training area on the far side by that next door panel.
I would like to inspect that combat mechanic thing.
Yeah. So yeah, as you walk over to that far side there and you see the weapons and the racks on the walls, it looks like this dummy, it's like nothing you've ever seen. One, it's like entirely made out of metal. So it seems like, the torso here, and it's got like clockwork arms that are, on either side of it. And it's grasping like a short sword in each hand. And it's, currently frozen there, but wow, it looks really advanced. Really, really interesting.
It doesn't look like anything is like, it doesn't look like it looks like it's frozen into stasis, not like deactivated frozen or something like it just.
Do you want to get closer and try and check?
I'd like to get closer. Like, can I give an investigation check on it?
Yeah. So you go up to this thing and go ahead and roll.
Okay.
I would like to check this body.
That is a
if it's anyone
21.
we know.
Okay. Yeah. So Hendrin, you're over here and you start to poke at this thing and be like, how does this work? What's going on with this? And then Sino, so go ahead and roll me a medicine check, or you could do an investigation. Basically, like, medicine would be probably tell you more about maybe how this person died, and the specs there, kind of a CSI moment.
Yeah.
Investigation might be just like looking at the general like crime scene around and for facts there.
It's a 23 for medicine check.
Okay, yeah. So medicine. So and just Zal and Gata, what are you both doing? What are you kind of looking at? There's a lot to look at in this car.
I think God is kind of doing a sweep to make sure that there's like nothing like lurking in the shadows in here.
Yeah,
and I
especially
think-
because it looks like there was a fight here. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely things scattered and broken all over the place.
I feel like she's probably looking at like the scrape marks on the ground and stuff like that to try and understand like how things went down, like the order of events.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're doing like a sweep, a patrol, and then Zal, where are you?
Zal is shadowing Gata, just eating the rations. Just
Following around,
and
having
watching.
some jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta keep that caloric intake up, right, for an adventure. That's your role in the party. So Sino, that's a great medicine check. Amazing. As you are looking at this body, something is definitely strange about it. Like beyond it being, a corpse, it's been here for a while. There's like an ashy quality to the skin, almost like the color or the life was being like drained out of it, like maybe prior to death. It's really hard to say. There's something off about this, and since it's so positioned like by the ritual circle, maybe something was happening to this person like actively, magically, when they died, which you can determine was probably not the same thing that caused whatever this is, because you can see that there is a clear wound like right driven through like the chest of this individual. And as you're looking at it, it was like a slicing weapon. And you can see the wound around it is like rumpled and strange. So maybe some kind of poisoned weapon. And if you had to guess, it would probably be from a short sword. You've seen these kind of wounds before. And in that exact same moment, Hendrian, as you are, looking at, the weapons, the clockwork thing in front of you, you're kind of poking, like, is this thing active or on? The short swords it's holding start to move through the air, being swung down at you. Those very same, and you see, like, now this corrosive, almost green ichor on the edge of this blade coming down right into your neck, and Strange at the top of their lungs. Strange! Like a warning like thing, full of anger and sadness as it's screaming and pointing at that clockwork thing that is now moving. We are in initiative. I'm gonna say, Hendrian, you're probably surprised unless you have something that lets you to roll against surprise. Do you have any traits or features?
I don't.
Okay.
Nope, I don't. Nope. Let me just double check here. No, I do not.
Okay, so the clockwork assassin then is going to go ahead and just stabs you right down, like into the neck, right in between your armor here. It is trying to get that like a death blow on you as this thing. And now that it's active, you realize that this is indeed a proper, unlike the Gearforged, which are like humanoid, hybrid, construct creatures, this is a true like machine that you have in front of here. A complex machine that now, as it starts moving, you can hear the tick, 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 tick of the turning gears, right, that operate this body and make it work here. So let's see. This is scary. So with advantage, because I have my assassinate feature.
Oh, wait, I do have something.
Oh.
I have absorbing. Reaction to reduce damage by 6 and then resist that type for 1 minute. Whew.
That will be
I knew I had
good.
something.
That will be good. Let's see if I hit you. I'm probably going to. Yes, 24 to hit.
Oh, that hits.
Yes.
Oof.
So the sword is going to deal 2 damage types, so you'll get to pick. Here we're going to get the piercing damage, obviously, from this just coming right down at you. So that would be 6 piercing damage, plus a bunch of poison damage. Oh my gosh, that'd be 15 poison damage versus that. What did I say? 6 piercing
They're
damage.
the 6 piercing damage.
Yeah. So do you want to reduce the poison?
I'll reduce the poison damage by 6, and now I'm resistant to all poison damage.
Okay, but in addition to that, I need you to make me a Constitution save as this poison pumps into your body here, or something bad was going to happen.
That's good. That's a 14.
Okay, a 14 is not enough, my friend. So you are going to be poisoned for 1 minute. So the poison condition, you can look that up. Basically, it gives you disadvantage on pretty much everything while you remain poisoned. And I get to pick the type. We have a bunch of cool poisoned weapon options. So let's see here. Assassin's Friend or Buyer's Mercy or Meddler's Fate. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm going to do Buyer's Mercy. This is awful. So a creature poisoned by a weapon coated with this poison falls unconscious while poisoned, or until it takes damage, or another creature uses an action to wake it. So not only do you feel that poison like drift through your body here, but the world goes black and you hit the floor.
You just see Hendrickson get stabbed, and the resistance kicks in, so he like gets stabbed and he like kind of pulls the knife out from where it was stabbed, and he looks at it and he goes, huh, and then falls right over.
Oh, well, that's not what you want. And, you know, the heavy sound of like the mystic metal and all of the weapons and tools on, you know, just echoes across the room here. But the good news is it can't attack you again without waking you up, but you are effectively out, my friend. And this clockwork assassin, you know, like takes that blade out of your fallen friend's hand and like just that classic like two knives, let's play sort of move on the end of the cart here. So Zal, you get to respond.
Excellent. Hearing my companion fall down, Zal will immediately snap his head over in the direction of this construct, and this is really cursed. I'm sorry in advance. You see his eyes begin to glow and his mouth begins to glow, and as he opens his mouth, he's going to cast a scorching ray, and those 3 rays of fire come out of each eyeball and his mouth. And
Whoa. That's so intimidating. Really channeling your fiendish patron, I feel like, in this moment.
Yes,
oh my
very
gosh.
much. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Wow, that's a natural one. So one eyeball it just goes completely.
You blink.
Yeah, like
awkward.
one eyeball,
Oh,
like,
your eyes really hot. Oh no, you hate when this happens.
You just hear a little mini explosion in the eyeball.
That's gonna be a 14 for the other one, and then the last one is going to be a 14.
Ooh, all of those miss as this thing just like dodges with such agility in between, so it's like bouncing off, you know, it raises up the metal plating so it all kind of like shields like right off of it. This thing is quick and fast, moving like a true assassin, made even worse by the fact that it is as fast as a machine and pulls no punches here. So the Zal, you're like, anything else for your turn?
That would be it. Just a
What? And then we move then to so Draxosino, we come to you.
Sino immediately moves into action and closes the gap between them and this construct. And as they ready themselves to swing, it looks like they're going to swing for the side of the construct, but very suddenly stop short. And instead of anything strike coming from the side, a beam of moonlight slams down as I cast Moonbeam on them. They have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yes. All right. Wait, like a 12. I'm sure that
DC
doesn't.
14.
No, apparently Moonlight, my one weakness as a robot. I got a 12.
Okay, perfect. They take 2d10 damage. And if they're a shapeshifter of any kind, they revert to their normal shape. I don't know if that matters, but
They're not. They're a robot, a clockwork robot.
Okay. Perfect. So that's 9 points of radiant damage.
Okay, yeah. So you you hit this thing, it like, you know, the beam of light comes down, and you see it's almost like little tiny knives, you know, hitting the plating. It's like pitting this thing almost like acid. And you hear like a whirring sound as like a gear gets kind of damaged. And there's like some like sparking that comes from behind this thing's eyes. You realize it might not actually be in the best shape itself. That a little amount of damage. Maybe this thing was in a fight before it went into stasis. But anything else for your turn?
No, that'll be my turn. I'll just put myself in between them and the rest of the group.
Standing over Hendrian's poor,
Yeah.
fallen, sleepy, and you hear a snore come out of him, and you're like, okay, he's not dead. Thank goodness. Okay, and then Gada, we come to you. So, because you were patrolling around, I think you are as close as you want to be to this thing.
Yeah, I think the second that Seno like turns to kind of cover Hendrian's body, I think you see like a blade, like a long sword, come out of nowhere
Oh
on
yeah.
like down on this thing.
How dare you?
That's gonna be not good with math. 17.
17, that'll do.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see, a D8. That's gonna be 7 points of damage.
Right. And that
then
all works against his clockwork body. No weird non-magical resistance here.
Thank God. I think I'm going to use my bonus action martial action for to use guard. I am going to kind of like I raise my shield and everything, but basically that means that it has disadvantage on the first attack. Well, the next attack roll it makes against any of us.
Nice. Cool. And you get a second attack, I think, as well as part of your attack action, I believe, right?
Thank you. Yeah. That
Bing.
is. I don't think that's gonna hit. I rolled a 3 on the die. We're good.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, probably not. But this thing again, it's so fast. It's so annoying how fast this thing is. But you have your guard ready, for when this thing inevitably comes back right at you.
Yes.
All right, and then Hendrian the Sleepy. What are you dreaming about?
I am dreaming about electric sheep.
Yeah. What are they? How can I make them?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna go right back up to the top of the round for our clockwork assassin coming in hot right at you, Gata, because you got a good old blow on. Oh, actually,
You have to make
okay, it's
another
gonna
con
send one to
save.
Sino and then one to Gata because you both are. So it can fight independently. It's very weird, because it can split focus. It's a machine. It doesn't have our problems. So
I
the
think it has
first
to make a
one-
con saving throw because the moonbeam is currently on
yeah,
it.
right.
And at the start of its turn, you need to make that save again as well.
Okay, it got a 16 on this one, so I think I'd take half.
That succeeds.
Okay.
Yeah, so we take half of it. So what is that? That is 10 to 5 radiant damage.
Still, moonlight hurts. So it's getting a little bit more fried as this happens, and it's going to try and attack you, Sino, with the disadvantage from the guard. Good. So with disadvantage, I rolled 2. I don't think. Yes, even with my bonuses, no way. So it's like stabbing down, and God, you're like, absolutely not, and you just like smack it, with the shield, and it comes in trying to hit you with its other blade because it did not like that. So that's gonna be a 14. I'm assuming will not hit Gata. No, I think your AC is so sorry, Candace. What's your AC for Gata?
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. I have my shield up, so that's 20.
Yeah. So you're like, no, just shutting it down, shutting it all down as this thing is trying to come in. Absolutely not. And as you all are kind of swarming around it and it's looking at all of you, you can almost see the gears literally turning in its head as it's like, I'm in danger right now. All these capable people, and it makes this sound that comes out. It's almost like a 90s kids, the dial-up tone that comes from like trying to get it, AOL or whatever, like it like goes out and it's like high-pitched and awful, and then there's like rapid clicking sounds and noises. I think Hendrian probably is the only one who might recognize machine speech, but he is asleep.
I'm asleep.
There is something, and it's like a broadcast signal that happens and goes out somewhere, and you all get like the bad feeling that it might have just sent a message or something somewhere, and then all of a sudden there's like a little explosion that happens like in this thing's head, and you see gears just like it shuts down, and basically like this thing explodes and kind of self-destructs in front of you, turning into like a pile of gears on the ground. Everybody who is right by it, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as the thing basically implodes. Yeah, so you're gonna, I think you just auto fail Hendrian on the ground. Yeah. But everybody else, go ahead and make me that dex save.
4.
That's a failure.
I rolled a 4 as well.
Oh no!
What is going on?
I am probably not in range.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think you are. So everyone else though is gonna take 15 fire damage as this thing explodes. So very rude awakening, Hendry. And as you take that damage, you are brought out of the poison stasis. Like, oh my god, and Strange is just in the background. It hasn't run up in the fight. It's just holding their hands, like Strange, and goes up and like kicks this thing on the side. Is it Strange? And like falls to its knees, like by the corpse, and then like looks at and it's just like shaking its hands to the sky.
Is the body on the floor human?
Yes. A human dressed in the colors of the keepers, the blues and the.
Oh. I think Gada looks up at everyone and says, "Is this the guy that we're looking for?"
I think so.
I think so. That might be him.
Yes, is this indeed our dear Zaruthraman?
Is there any kind of like ID on them?
No, they don't have like a bracelet, ID bracelet or anything. But clearly, I mean, the way Strange is acting right now in all of this, clearly there's some story it's trying to say here. And if you say, Zarathraman, Strange will be Strange! Strange! Strange.
Is this your body?
Strange.
Okay.
Ah,
All
I
right. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Strange.
Yes, I'm indeed sorry that you're now in this predicament.
It just sighs, lets out a machine, like it's almost like a steam whistle, but it's like a deep sigh.
Are you alone?
Strange. And Strange, and then points at the remains of the clockwork thing, and then sort of makes a stabby motion, and like points at the circle, and then
I see. The Gearforge stabbed your human body, and then in a last attempt
so the clockwork thing stabbed its human body.
The clockwork mechanic just stabbed your human body, and in your last attempt to save yourself, you transferred your consciousness into a Gearforge, and using this stone. Your
it's like
soul
finally someone is understanding.
Your soul is leaking. Oh my goodness, your soul is leaking.
Strange, and it like makes us like a time, and like moves forward. We got to get out of here.
Yes, we are on the clock if we want to save this poor man's everything.
Strange.
You keep going ahead. I want to
It's
see.
like let's go.
You all go ahead. I'll catch up with you. I want to see if there's anything I could grab in the previous cards. I'll be with you in a moment, I promise.
Oh,
Just don't get into any trouble.
For sure.
And I'm gonna rush back to the previous car. And I want to see if there are any jewels or gems amongst the minerals and stuff that I could.
Yeah, there were some, but none with the qualities that you would need to like replace or imitate a soul gem. But are you looking for something? Oh, you're looking for a diamond, a 1,000 gold piece diamond, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking for a diamond.
Unfortunately, there are no diamonds there.
It.
This is not this, but I promise you, maybe if you make it back to the keepers, there might be something. There might be something they can do to help. But basically, this Gearforge needs a new soul gem. Otherwise, the download basically was interrupted, and without a working soul gem, this soul is gonna leak out, and the process will be incomplete. And Saruman will be lost forever.
Oh no!
So time is of the essence.
I'll meet up with the rest of the group then.
Go ahead, Gada.
No, go ahead. That's what I want to say.
Before Gada dips, I think they look at the body and look at Strange. Do we need to reclaim your body and bring it back to the keepers, or are you good here?
Strange is like Strange, and gives a that thing is done.
Oh no.
But I mean, plenty of people live out their lives happily as Gearforged. It is a lineage option that you can choose in the Labyrinth Rulebook, which you can buy right now, by the way. Pre-order site. And some of it goes to charity. What is there to lose? Nothing. Yeah. So if he gets a new soul gem, he can live comfortably in this Gearforged body, but that corpse is a little too yeah. Yeah. So would you like to move ahead?
Yeah, head on forward.
Yeah. So
I
as we
I will heal everyone. Actually, I think I'm realizing that.
Yeah.
We've really six some hits there. I will cast. I'll cast mass healing word.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And heal everyone around me for set level circle healing word. That is 1d4 plus no wisdom. Okay.
This is way more effective than what I was gonna say, which is Zalbakar walks up to Hendrian with a band-aid and just puts the band-aid on, which gives you no healing.
Is it a
None.
cute one? Does it have like a little cartoon on it?
Yes,
Like little happy
it is-
faces.
Zal has drawn their own face on it.
I think the moment Zhao puts a band-aid on is when the mass healing word hits. So you actually can't tell what affected
Yeah,
you first. So if it was the
what it
band-aid
really
or if it was the
was.
healing. But you all get everyone gets 9 points of healing.
Nice.
Thank you.
So you get those 9 points, and we continue on through the door. The last door, you guys. We're almost there. About 10 minutes left. We got this. We can save this guy.
We can do it.
All right. So you move on through this final door, and you come into what very much feels like a control engine room as you enter the eye. And as you're looking around here, you see an alarming amount of like gears and mechanisms of machine, extremely intimidating. I mean, Hendrian, this probably looks exciting as heck. Like you could spend a lot of time in here, but more complicated than anything you've ever seen. And as you are looking around here, there is like one huge like central panel that has, it would be like a swiveling chair, but you can see that there is a construct mounted there. So it's really just like a torso and 4 arms that extend like out. So it could almost like a Pilot, if any from sci-fi stuff. But anyway, this creature, you see its hands are fallen and inactive, and you can see that like a big old short sword has been like rammed basically through the head of this thing, so it is no longer functioning. So the pilot of this thing, the conductor, is down, which probably explains part of why this train hasn't been found or been going anywhere. They were assassinated. And as you are looking there, you see Zal, in your fanny pack, you would like experience like a warm, like something starts to glow. And
Yeah, I
that
imagine
wayfinder-
Zal is
yeah.
just like it looks like Zal is just counting how many band-aids he has left, and then
Yeah.
like all of a sudden there's just
Like,
a glow, kind of like in like Pulp Fiction when they open the briefcase
Yeah, like
and it's all glowing. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that contraption, that you had been given, that like just stacked a bunch of these spinning metal discs with different like studded gems and stuff, this very strange looking thing starts to glow, as does this like central panel on this like under the hand, the now incapacitated hand of this pilot creature.
Zal
Could you
will
do it?
actually hand it over to Gata and continue counting their band-aids.
Yeah. Well, this is a problem.
This is not a band-aid.
I feel like Gata like looks at it and looks at the others and is like, I hit things.
I'll take it. Henderson holds his hand out.
Hendrian.
5, 6.
So now you see, like, as this thing, you're holding it, it gets closer to the panel, which also imitates this series of, like, network of, like, spinning circles and interlocking things. So you quickly realize that if you shift this thing, the screen responds in kind. And just through process of elimination, like, as you shift and move, you see different places like appear on the screen. It's almost like a divining, like a magic mirror looking at. So as you're trying to line it up, you're oscillating it so quickly or not, it is really finicky. You swear you saw like a forest kind of flash through, and you're like, oh yes, that arboreal station, that's where we need to go. But it's so precise as you're mirroring these. So this process, we're going to have to make some checks, and you're going to need 3 successful checks to pull this train out of the station and go where you need to go.
Yeah, I'll go for it. Let's do this. What kind of check do I have to make?
Can I help?
Yes. So there's actually 2 things. That would be the most efficient way to do this is if somebody is working the panel controls directly and somebody is working the wayfinder. And then between you, the 2 other people could help with these checks by assisting, by like basically calling like what is going on, like as this is. So this can absolutely be a coordinating effort because it's two sets of checks that we're rolling each time.
Okay.
So who is helping who, and then who is going to make the so the sensor for on the panel is either going to need an investigation or a perception check. And then so navigating and controlling the portal stuff, so this is going to be actually manipulating the device and getting it to match up, is going to be either investigation or sleight of hand.
I'll do the portal lining up.
Okay, and do you want to do investigation or sleight
I'll
of
do
hand?
investigation because
Okay.
I'll do investigation with it.
All right. So who wants to help with that, like the micro task of like, because the eyesight, like it goes so fast by the screen, right? You need to line it up in that moment. So having two people watch that will be.
Zalbakar will help Hendrian with guidance, actually.
Nice. Guidance and advantage on those rolls then as we are going
nice.
along here.
How much does your guidance give?
A D4. You get another Band-Aid put on you.
Slap. And then so Drac and Gada then are you two. So Sino and Gada are standing there. So you are either one of you is going to have to make the investigation or perception check. Who wants to?
Can I do perception?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do investigation. Yeah, that's fine.
So Gada, if you would like, you can just help. Sino, go ahead,
can?
which will give advantage on all the checks.
Awesome. Can I use perception to give advice?
Yeah, for sure. So you're basically standing there like you're watching for the signs and the symbols as you both are like spinning these tiny like delicate discs as this is going on here. So this is just an effort in precise. So all of you kind of look at each other and then it's like ready, go. So let's go ahead and do those first round of checks. So Sino, you're going to be rolling, and then your perception with advantage because Gada is helping. And then Hendrian, you are going to be rolling your investigation with Zalbakar helping with your guidance D4. So
And can I cast guidance on myself, or would I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. As
So
I
yeah, all right, we're maxing this out. I like this, like really going for it. This is the thing. This is the last stuff, guys. So yeah, go.
I'm just gonna shake my hand, and go, Artemis, guide my hand as I cast guidance.
Okay.
My guidance is just Band-Aid.
More and more.
I got a 22 for this check.
That is good.
I definitely got in the 20s, but I need to do math. Hold on.
Okay, in the 20s is fine. I'll say DC
I also
15.
got a 22.
DC 15 is your thing. So you guys successfully complete one of the 3 sets of checks that you need to make. And as this happens, as you line things up and you get like the forest kind of into view, the train comes to life. You hadn't realized how quiet it had been before, but as it does, panels light up around the room and there is the sound of machines that just start spinning as all of these like wheels and cogs surrounding you begin to open up and the whole structure starts to rumble, right? As the engine is like waking up and coming to life, the eye is beginning to open. And you see at this point too, like almost like starports, these panels like open down and you see now windows just like into some kind of starry abyss around you. Like it's just black swirling something like studded with silver stars. Let's go ahead and make the second round of checks.
Ugh. Okay. I rolled the same number on both dice.
All right.
26 this time.
You
That's
are
a 20.
awesome. It's like you've done this before. All of you, as you're like, no, and you like line up those perimeters. And once again, that forest station like comes into view and you all feel the lurch forward as the train starts to move. This is happening. You're getting forward momentum, the chug, chug, chug of this train beginning here. And you begin to see those stars on either side in those ports screaming past you as you are clearly moving with a speed that is far beyond even what you are comfortably experiencing here, that small lurch. And it's almost like you're in a worm tunnel or something, like as this begins the hyperspace like beams of light coming around you, shooting past these stars, and you hear the roar of something big, some kind of creature just outside. Maybe this motion has caught the attention of something you didn't quite anticipate, but no time to think about that. Do another set of checks, see if we can make this jump.
after slapping on that band-aid, Zalbakar will just put his face up against the panel and just try to look outside.
It's as this is zooming past.
11 plus 9, 20.
I got a 21.
Oh my gosh,
21.
you so good. You got, and you as you hear the roar of whatever this horrific void being is just waiting and watching as you pass through, all of a sudden it's gone. All the stars and everything in the display and this echoing, this nightmarish sound fades, and the train, you feel another jolt as it like stops moving again, and all around you you see just green verdant forest in this beautiful place, and very quickly a lot of things happen as Strange is like, Strange, you know, you get out here, a set of double doors opens up, and you very quickly like are greeted by a group of these keepers, including Soldaria, the one who investigated, you know, and sent you to find this, and they're just thrilled that you brought this train back, and immediately start, you know, pouring over Strange, and they're like, oh my, like, we can fix you, like, it's all happy good stuff. You did it, you guys. The Valiant Six, we did it again. We saved the train. We're gonna save Strange, our friend. Congratulations, you guys. You did an awesome job. We have retrieved Rava's needle and avoided a terrible, terrible fate from a void monster that would have swallowed you whole.
Yay!
Yay!
And we let all the
Oh!
animals loose.
Yes.
We let all of them loose.
Freedom!
Yes. So we are at the very end of our time here. So thank you everybody so much for sticking with us and for donating and just being so hyped about all the awesome stuff you know, Kobold are doing right now. We have a lot of big announcements this time, and it means the world to us to have you all here. So let's go around the horn one more time and real quick tell people again who you are and where they can find and follow you on the internet. So just going around my screen again. Candace, who are you? Where can people go to check out your stuff?
Hello, everybody. I'm Candace, also known as Candace the Magnificent. You can find me at the Candace Marie on Twitter and Blue Sky, at Candace the Magnificent everywhere else. If you want to see more of my work, please check out Herald of Shadows, which is the new 3 Black Halflings AP. You can also hear me in the upcoming video game Monaco 2 and on the audio drama Partial Veil, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Just check my social.
Oh my God, follow Candace. There's too many cool things. Stay on touch. And then Stella, where can people go to find your stuff?
Hi, I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all other social media. I primarily use Blue Sky at stellaluna.tv. I'm a TTRPG producer and performer, so you'll find me doing more of this all the time. Thank you so much for supporting this, and thank you so much to my lovely cast for joining me for this. Thank you, thank you.
Seriously, such a fun cast. I'm such privileged playing with all of you. But we're not done yet. Wally, where can the people go to find your stuff?
Yeah, y'all can find me on the Blue Sky at WALLE132, just like the cute little Disney robot. I'm a TTRPG performer. So pretty much I'm doing this, what you see me here, doing this, but in other places. So you can find me on Blue Sky, finding out what other stuff I'm in. This was fantastic. Thank you so much for this. This was a joy to play.
It was a joy having you all. And Drac, where can people go? Check you out. Follow your stuff.
Yeah, you can find me at Draconics. It's DRAKONIQUES on all social media. Just add a .itch.io if you want to find me on Blue Sky. I do actual play stuff. I produce actual plays, perform in actual plays. I write TTRPGs as well. So if you want to get your grubby little mitts on some of the things I've got my grubby little mitts on, you can just check out my socials and you can see the links there. I'm just learned that Candace, you voiced in Monaco 2 because I was playing that just a couple of weeks ago with a friend. I had no clue you voiced in that. That's so cool.
Awesome. Yeah, so obviously all of you go follow, support, hire these amazing people. My name is Celeste Konowich. I work here full time at Kobold Press. So if you want to check out my stuff, check out everything Kobold Press is doing. I've got my fingers in a lot of the products that we've, you know, talked about this weekend. Please, yeah, just, you know, hang out, join our Discord. Let us know if you're enjoying Tales of the Valiant. Let us know if you're pre-ordering Labyrinth World Book and Labyrinth Adventures. It'd be really cool. I can't wait for people to check out the fullness of this adventure, which is so cool and rich. We only got a little piece of it, but it is fantastic stuff. And thank you to everybody for supporting our Let's Quest this weekend and us in general. So we love you guys. Thank you so much. I think that's it. So everybody enjoy. We're coming up here on the closing ceremonies for Kobold Con. So you all are incredible, and we'll see you in the Warrens, everybody.
Bye.
Dust off your finest hat and tighten your suspenders because you're invited down to the riverbank. In this new cozy RPG from Kobold Press, you navigate the intricacies and often the bedlam of polite animal society. Designed by award-winning writer Kij Johnson and featuring art by Kathleen Jennings, each page brims with charm and whimsy. At the table, your decisions matter. So, while animal life might seem as effortless as a stroll in the garden, your social calendar demands much more than a stiff upper lip. Riverbank introduces a new role-playing system, and players must balance their characters' animalistic and poetic sides. Veer too far to either side and total disaster may follow. So grab your friends and put on your finest plumage. Then come dance a waltz of whimsy with a hint of hilarity and a dollop of drama. The cozy Riverbank RPG awaits. Download the free preview PDF and pledge today on BackerKit.
Whether it's your first adventure, or you're busy planning for the next, or you are proud to be valiant, Drive-Thru RPG is your best support class with Kobold Press's entire PDF library available. Browse through over 300 titles for Tales of the Valiant, Midgard, 5e, and more. Stay brave and bold with Black Flag compatible titles. Explore Kobold Press's famous guides on drive-thru fiction too. Start your adventure today.
Line, or take only what you need to weave directly into your own campaign. Claim your key to the labyrinth and embark on a journey through 10,000 worlds.
Cole just like bites off one of Marlon's fingers.
Yeah! They fell into my trap. My up little guy trap.
I'm Rebecca once.
Well, what a lovely accent you got there.
Jamie thinks that you have time traveled.
There's two orphans coming towards you. They got like kind of fanged mouths, glowing green eyes. You can't really make out what kind of monster they are.
I'll shoot one. But I didn't take a pact. I didn't make any kind of actual formal agreements.
Read some paperwork about this.
Ron and Jamie have seen Marlon kill people.
I mean, Marlon has so many knives and isn't trained to put them in you.
My biggest regret is all the people I helped kill, honestly.
No, that makes sense.
Second biggest regret is there's some like glass between you. You just see her like punch through the glass and just grab Ron's face and kiss him.
It is the longest, hardest smooch you've ever seen in the history of podcasting, folks.
Necromancer the card game from Kobold Press is designed by Jeff Quick and art is done by Stan. Necromancer is a fast-paced card game of raising legions of the undead. You are a sorcerer commanding these dark legions, and your goal is to overwhelm your enemies with an unstoppable army or sacrifice a circle of underling minions to seize the Well of Eternal Life and declare your victory. Your only obstacle? The pitiable necromancers who think themselves your equal. You can pre-order Necromancer today on the Kobold Press store. Expand combat options for your game with Book of Blades and join the feel of battle over land and sea. This collection of player options for Tales of the Valiant and 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adds a wealth of exciting new material for martial classes, including 14 subclasses, new talents, new weapon options, new combat options for every martial class, and options for fighting in intense single combat duels, wrestling matches, and on mounts. Pre-order Book of Blades today on the Kobold Press store.
everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the closing ceremonies of Kobold Con 2025. We hope you all had a wonderful time this weekend and enjoyed yourselves. I'm Dot, and I'm joined by...
Well, that would be me. Hello, happy time zone, everybody. I am T. Alexander Sangren, the COO of Kobold Press.
We're gonna take a second to recap the weekend for you, highlight the best of the best, share some things we've not even talked about yet, and then wrap our weekend up. And that will close out our Kobold Con 2025, as sad as that might be. So, where do we start, Alexander?
Well, I mean, over the past few days, we've had some amazing online panels. We've had some live shows and Q&A sessions with some of the brightest minds in the gaming industry.
But I have to say, the highlight for us, at least, was the announcement of some new TOV products, such as Book of Blades, along with the upcoming Kickstarters for Player's Guide 2 and the Northlands book. And we can't forget the RPG Riverbank that's launching literally tomorrow. Everybody, tomorrow. Live to backer kit. And because we just can't we just can't stop ourselves. We have another first, which is that Kobold Press announced its first ever card game called Necromancer, which you can actually pre-order now on our store. And thanks to our friends over at Do You Validate Studios here in Atlanta, we got to see the first ever live play of Necromancer. So if you missed it, you can catch all of this and more over on our YouTube channel now, where we have started uploading the videos from the weekend.
And with obviously all the fun that we've had, we do need to take a moment to thank our sponsors, partners, and everyone who made this event possible. It's not just the Kobolds in the Warriors doing this. Without your support, we wouldn't have been able to turn Kobold Con into a reality this year. We'd also like to say thank you very much to the attendees who joined us from around the world for our organized play, and those who tuned in online. As always, I mean, we are in this for the fun. Your passion for gaming enthusiasm for Kobold Press, it makes the event really special for us. As an extra little thing that we've done this year, we've even had a few players earn the elusive title of Thornbearer in our Discord by completing the Bramble King adventure in a unique way. Dot has a little bit more information on that.
Zach, our community manager, has revealed exactly what you had to do that and actually earn that title. So players in the adventure dealt with the Bramble King and his Bramble Crown. Players who successfully rolled for his crown to acknowledge them instead of the king during play earned the title, and we only had 2 people in which the Bramble Crown officially acknowledged.
Exciting.
Isn't that exciting? Yeah, it's such a cool title.
I think, yeah, it's the swag. It'd be like, hi everybody, it's me, the Thornbearer.
Yeah, so cool. And actually in Discord, they've already done it. Their names come up green, and you get a little icon in the Discord, so everybody knows that one of your titles is Thornbearer. It's really neat.
And this is just the first time we're doing this. So join us throughout the year for more organized play at conventions, and you can earn these exclusive titles for Discord.
It's true. Now, this year, our Kobold Con charity was Let's Quest. With all of your donations and 10% of purchases over the weekend, plus our match, we are very excited to announce that our total raised for Let's Quest is $1,000. These funds will be directly donated to Let's Quest and their mission of enhancing schools and library tabletop RPG programs by providing resources and materials to educators, librarians, and facilitators at absolutely no cost to them. You can learn more about Let's Quest and their impact in the Q&A panel that we did earlier today, which was so wonderful. Just wanted to say, like, if you needed warm, fuzzy feels, that was the panel you needed to tune into. It was so wonderful to hear from the members of their board and the leaders in the organization about all that they're out there, like, doing for these kids and providing books. So we are so grateful that all of you helped us raise this money for them, and make sure to check out that Q&A panel and go visit them for more information on what good they're doing in our world.
Whilst it might be the end of Kobold Con, let it not be said that we are one to rest on our thorn crown. This is not the end of what you can expect from us in this convention year. We have got in-person convention appearances at GameCon Canada, Gen Con, Dragon Con, and Gamehole Con.
So if you want to learn more about that, you want to become involved, remember, you can go follow us over on your favorite social platform so that you don't miss all of everything that's coming. And I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't remind everybody as well that the Kobold Creates applications are open as part of a way to engage with us throughout the year. 10 projects will be picked. You're going to be given sponsorship dollars, marketing support, all kinds of awesome things. We even have a private Discord you get to join with other Kobold Creates people from our past year. So make sure to check it out. Those applications are live now through April 16th. So you only have a couple weeks. So get your ideas together, get your pitches in. We can't wait to see them. But As well, you want to follow us so that you don't miss out on other announcements that we have throughout the year, including new releases like the Labyrinth World Book, the TOV Starter Box from Steamforge, Riverbank, all of that. We will talk about ongoing through things like our social media, our Discord, and of course, our weekly newsletter, The Courier.
Some of you have already been asking. Kobold Con 2026 is already in the works. Conventions take a while to organize, so we've already started.
It's never ending.
Yeah, we've been listening to your the conversation on Discord over the weekend for feedback and how we can improve this year on year. Thank you very much for your constructive suggestions. We are hoping to bring another unforgettable experience for you again next year, and everything willing, year after year. Mark your calendars and get ready to join us for another year of online Kobold shenanigans in same time, March 2026.
All right, everybody. I think that's all we have. This is the part where we're supposed to do that cool thing where we talk at the same time. We've got this new thing that we're doing here at Kobold Press where we're bold, brave, and valiant. So, Alexander, are you ready? We're going to do it at the same time. It's going to be totally in sync. Ready?
Entirely in sync.
Entirely
Is
ready?
it 1, 2, 3 bold, or is it 1, 2, 3, 4
1, 2, 3,
bold?
be bold.
Okay, be bold.
We have to do, the whole sentence. Okay, ready? Everybody at home with us. Ready? 1, 2, be
bold,
be
brave,
and
be valiant.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Kobold Con 2025. That is a wrap. You have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you next week for the launch of a backer kit. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.